समीर स्टार्ट करो. Abhishek.
It appears that you are audible to Samir.
Samir, can you hear us?
Hi friends. I welcome all of you to this virtual meet, and we have a entire gambit from the experienced people entirely on the public and financial management. And today we have the two speakers, Sumantra Ray and Deepak Batraji. And the host of this entire event is being organized by the Pune branch and mentored by the Chandrasekhar B. Chitle, who is the chairman of the Corporate Affairs Committee and also is shoulder to shoulder working in this my committee as a vice chairman. So I request the Pune branch chairman Abhishek Damne, please take it your welcome as you have worked in this Pune chapter.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dheeraj sir.
Recording is on.
On behalf of Committee for Public and Government Financial Management of ICI, Pune branch of WRC, I welcome all of you, respected Central Council Member CA Dheeraj Khandelwal, Chairman for the committee, Vice Chairman CA Chandrasekhar Chitle, very own Council Member from Pune, Speaker for the first session Sumitra Ray, my co-colleague Samir, and dear all 2,500 participants. A very good morning to all of you. You must be aware that local bodies have day-to-day play in our day-to-day life, as like whatever we have water in our home, we use the road, many things we are connected to all the local bodies. But sometimes it is felt that being a chartered accountant, we are disconnected to such authorities. So under the leadership of Dheeraj Khandelwalji, this committee is taking so many initiatives that opportunities for chartered accountant, how we can develop opportunities in accounting of local bodies or in accounting or auditing of local bodies, how we can implement double entry system over there. And it will be ultimately fruitful for the entire nation if it is implemented in a better manner. So with that intent, we had discussion with Dheeraj Khandelwalji and of course Chitre sir. Then the program was sanctioned, and it's one of the apt program wherein its blend of opportunities for chartered accountants would also be discussed, and nitty-gritties of local bodies would also be discussed. So on behalf of Pune branch, I thank Dheeraj Khandelwal sir and Chitre sir for giving this opportunity to Pune branch to host this program. I'm sure we are also planning a mega program in the month of November, wherein all the urban bodies and rural local bodies would be brought on a platform, and we can deliberate. We look forward for guidance from Dheeraj Khandelwal sir on that, and we expect your support as well. So with this, I hand over to Dheeraj Khandelwal sir for his official opening remarks, and then we will hear from CV Chitre sir. Over to you, Dheeraj sir.
Welcome all my participants to this virtual meet. Generally, we have a webinar where more than 20,000 people comes, but this is a virtual meeting. We wanted to have a structured CPE and people. So I welcome all the participants and those who could not able to join. So we'll have this program on the DLH platform, so people can view it. And today, two the speakers are there, and my co-chairman Chandrasekhar B. Chitle is here. So just wanted to highlight this has become a important aspects now. As I said, important aspects. What is the sense? Till now, I think we chartered accountant never been involved in the public and government financial management. We chartered accountant always stuck on the very niche area which we used to doing from last 70 years. it's completely on the private accounting and auditing side. In private auditing accounting side means that we are working for the limited company partnership, individual returns, GST, tax audits, all kind of internal audit system, particular rate pertain to the private bodies. We never looked upon the government financial management aspects because that's very closely held. Generally people, the CAGs, AZs, doing the audit from last 20 years. It's our domain coming to the our chartered accountant people are special knowledge are working on it. But why only the special people? We all the chartered accountant take this domain area, take work on this area, and it's ample of opportunities. Government financial management is more than equal to the private companies and the assessees. That's important because their outlay are very much. This government functioning is that the entirely the government are spending from the local authorities or municipal bodies and more on so on. Near about 3 lakh to 4 lakh crore are spending through the panchayat, and number of 60 to 70 schemes are there which are governing by the government. For Amrit Yojana, a lot of schemes are there. Even the municipal bodies are responsible for the entire in the cities and towns for developments. And in the growing demand, more and more civics are coming, and they are becoming a municipal bodies. And in that municipal bodies, we need to have a proper accounting mechanism. Earlier to that, 20 years before, we never thought about the accounting reforms in the municipal bodies or in any kind of local authorities. But now it's become a reality. In 2002, the NAMAM, it's a national manual accounting, manual is there, NAMAM is there, that enacted the accounting local authorities and municipal bodies has to have their account according to NAMAM. In that NAMAM, there are a lot of provisions are there. It's based on the accrual system, and every state has a different laws, and they has to some of the states on an accrual basis and or single basis. Now every municipal bodies has to switch over from the single accounting to double accounting to the accrual basis accounting, and that is why it's needed. The chartered accountant special knowledge is needed, and that's why from our committee, this committee is working from so many years to development of the accounting reform in the municipal bodies and panchayat. In municipal body, we came out all the accounting standards. I'm saying all the accounting standards we came out, except barring 2 or 3 accounting standards, we came out all the accounting standards. Now, if we have to look upon the government, that government has to prescribe. ICI came out all accounting standards based on the international accounting standard. IPSAS board. So that's we came out, we call it ASLBs. In the ASLBs, now members of our fraternity should know about what are the ASLBs accounting standards are there, how this accounting standard are going to govern, how it's going to be practical. Just wanted to highlight 2 accounting standards are becoming a mandatory. Previously, all accounting standards were a recommended in nature, but 2 accounting standards become a mandatory. In the mandatory position, all the chartered accountant has to comply with, but not now. Maybe it's becoming mandatory in 2022. So we have the leverage of 2 years, but we need to ascertain how to apply it and what are the opportunities are there for the chartered accountant. The opportunities of chartered accountant are immense in this particular where our 2 speakers will to have in detail what are the opportunities are there in the public and government domain area, whether it's a internal audit, whether it's a certificate, whether it's a financial audit, whether it's a conversion of account into the double accounting system. So all accounting and auditing, internal audit system is there. Because of the effort of this committee, this year itself, the Panchayat has come out the internal audit system. Their outlay going to be in the 1% of the audit fees, the outlay is there. They were 30 to 40,000 crore going to be 3,000 crore going to spend for the audit fees. So opportunities are there. We had a number of programs for the opportunities for chartered accountant with the ADB, World Bank. So now you can understand, you can have a practice of working with the Asian Development, World Bank, where you can do the consultancy job. So areas are working there. This committee has started the certificate course that also been well accepted by the all participants. Today we completed 5 batches of the certificate course. And just wanted to highlight, in the MEF form, in the multi-purpose empanelment form, this column is also being added for the benefit of the members. So those members who are having experience as well as the certificate of the ICI will be getting a special recognition. This empanelment form will circulate to the various state government, the work going to flow to the all chartered accountant. The kind of effort, the certificate we this year we started converting to the certificate course, and we only the committee were executing that the virtual examination also. In the online examination, we did the examination. People has passed. 98% result was there, and people are all passed, and people are happy. Now it's turned to you. 2,500 people are there. I am sure about 200 or 300 people are maybe from the certificate course participant maybe here, but those are not there. I request the certificate course every month is be lined up. You attend that particular course. Your horizon will be increased about the perception of the government and financial management, how the accountings are functioning, how the governments are functioning. Every in detailed knowledge you will come to know about the government and financial management. Regarding the committee, we are working very closely with the government, central government as well as the state government. I can give you the detail. We are also working with the central government in government financial management, that all the NAMAM which came in 2002 has to be revised. Because we come out with entire accounting standards, so we are revising their NAMAM Act. So what are the difference are there, we'll come to know. So same way in the every state we are coming for, we are doing the capacity building program with the every state, whether it's a municipal body, whether it's a panchayata. We are also working with the government finance, public companies also. Of the central government as well as state government. We are also working with the University Education Ministry. In the Education Ministry 2012, where this issued the circular to the all universities, every account should be on the accrual basis. It's still not there. We are evaluating the system and we are preparing a report and submitting to the government education ministry. These universities still are not there. So every government financial management part or any expenditure or any kind of any scheme, now it's slowly turning into the accrual basis. And the Niti Aayog and the central government are having a lot of grants also based on the accrual. If you are maintaining your accrual account, then only you will get the complete grant. Otherwise, withholding 10 to 20% are there. So various elaborate schemes there. Immense opportunity is there. Now we chartered has to look these area which was not our domain area. In 2016-17 we have seen that we adopted the GST. Now I see this particular year as a pandemic year. In the time of virtual year, will all the chartered accountant entirely will adopt this skill also in the government financial management and understand what the nitty-gritties are there and look upon the various opportunity. And by having possessing all our knowledge, we can serve to the nation and nation can be benefit with our expertise. With this, I welcome all of you to this a great learning program in the virtual course. And I hope that both of the speaker, Deepak Batraji and Samatraji, will explain you the very thing. Just one more thing. We have also come out recently municipal bond, booklet. How to raise the finance to the various municipal bodies. So that's also booklet we have released. In that release, you just go through what is the need and how the chartered accountant play important role in the raising the finance to the various municipalities. Amazing book we published just recently, 1 month before, and I acknowledge the sincere effort my Chandrasekhar Chitleji, CV Chitleji from Pune for the great effort, shoulder to shoulder working with this committee. In spite he's busy in the corporate affairs committee as a chairman, but he's equally devoting their time. So I have recognized his effort. Also, thanking to the Abhishek to taking the initiative for this virtual, so that member having more awareness program, so that members of the fraternity can engage in this activity. Wish you all the best and great learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dheeraj sir, for your warm welcome address. Now I request Central Council members, Chitra sir, please give your overview on this subject. Over to you, Chitra sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dheeraj Bhai, for wonderful opening remarks. I think our Committee of Government and Public Finance and Management is shouldered ably by Honorable Dheeraj Khandelwal, and he is taking so many initiatives. Friends, I also welcome Deepak Batraji, who has just now joined. Namaste. So friends, this is the era of pandemic, and we are finding a great difficulty in making compliance as far as this private sector is concerned. In case of private sector, you are not getting the data properly. Maybe at your end also there is some issue. And after having performed the work, maybe if you look at the list of payments to be issued by any private organization, first they will be paying to labor, then materials, then taxes, then so many other things. And then if there is something in the kitty, maybe chartered accountant would be getting an audit fees. So fees will have to wait in this particular era of pandemic. But then there is another area which is largely untapped. There are our professional brothers who are doing efforts in this era, foray in this era. But then I would say that largely it is untapped, and that is the government and public accounts, and particularly urban local bodies and rural local bodies. And under the leadership of our chairman, this committee is really making foray into this particular era. So on behalf of Committee on Public and Government Financial Management of the ICAI and Pune branch of ICAI, I myself and my chairman Dheeraj Khandelwal take pleasure in welcoming you. I also place on record the momentous efforts for organizing this particular webinar taken by Pune branch, and particularly its dynamic chairman, CA Abhishek Dhamne, and dynamic vice chairman, CA Samir Ladda. I think now the pandemic is getting receded to an extent, and there is an opening up. So already there are talks at Pune branch of holding a combo programs, like maybe around 50 persons can be present in the auditorium, Dheeraj Bhai, and rest can come on the web, so that you have the speaker have feel of the audience, as well as the rest of those who are not able to attend. They will be really beneficiary of this program. So under leadership of Abhishek, Pune branch is planning that, and let us hope that it materializes first. I'm also thankful to the faculties Sumita Roy and Deepak Batraji, who is also our committee member, for really agreeing to enlighten us in this session. Friends, as you are aware that the system of government in India has many constituents, and one of which is local bodies, such as urban local bodies, by abbreviation ULBs, which includes municipal corporations, councils, municipalities, etc. And we have rural local bodies or RLBs, which dominantly are constituted by panchayats. And they are held responsible for local planning, development, administration in urban and rural area respectively, which touch and affect the day-to-day life, as our chairman said. Proper financial reporting system in these local bodies is perhaps the most important means to achieve an objective of accountability and transparency and the operations and administrations of the local bodies. In this direction, the Government of India has taken several initiatives. It has introduced double entry based accrual accounting system in ULBs, linking the incentives under Amrut and performance grants with accrual accounting system, audit of accounts, issuance of municipal bonds, etc. Then cash-based system is being strengthened in case of rural local bodies with several IT initiatives such as introduction of various software, for example, PriyaSoft accounting, National Asset Directory for asset management, public financial management system for tracking funds being disbursed for various government schemes, etc., linking of grants and preparation of accounts and audit, etc. In India, these reforms are quite steady and gradual, as these are critical and complex and need to be supported by wider political consensus. We need to have a place enabling legislation, regulations and laws, building capacity of government officials, required processes and system. The reforms can only succeed if all the stakeholders support and work jointly and closely in the direction of the reforms. We at ICI and particularly this committee will continue to support the government effectively in increasing efficiency and transparency through our projects and technical assistance. And in this direction, the work by this committee under the leadership of our chairman is really noteworthy. Because not only the committee has come up with various accounting standards, some of which, as chairman informed, have been made mandatory, the others are recommendatory, but we are making efforts to meet each and every state, the secretary of urban department, the rural departments, the prominent municipalities, and we are also requesting them to really address these aspects of accounting, which are in turn crucial for the purpose of performance of the economy. As far as today's event is concerned, with a strong accounting and audit base, local bodies would be able to perform better in the interest of citizens and generate more finances on the basis of its own strength. And financials and enhance the revenue would provide better services and meet our infrastructure requirements of the citizens of the country. Members of the institute can play an important role and support the local bodies in this regard. Today's VCM will focus upon the practical issues in convergence of accounts from cash to accrual system of accounting, professional opportunities for chartered accountants in local bodies. There are various opportunities for chartered accountants in local bodies, but in it yet to be expanded. I am sure that with our efforts, chartered accountants would be able to play a significant role in local bodies, such as strengthening their accounting, auditing and financial management system, empowering them and augmenting the revenues and raise the funds independently. I am sure that today we were envisaging that only audit, internal audit are the rules. But under the leadership of chairman, certain progressive municipalities like Ahmedabad, they have also started employing chartered accountants as their CFOs and for various important posts. So I am sure that like we have careers in corporates, there would also be careers in local bodies, particularly where the Mumbai municipality, which is having budget which exceeds the budget of maybe 5 to 10 states. So if you get opportunity to have career in such a large local body, I think definitely it would be a lifetime career. And all efforts are being made by this particular committee to enhance the opportunities for chartered accountants. What are those opportunities? If we have a session on that, and particularly these accounts, for the purpose of better reporting, need to be on accrual basis. So all these aspects today we will be discussing. Today is very significant day in our life. It is 10-10-2020. So I'm sure that on this 10-10-2020, let us start a new night with this career, because I was informed by chairman that more than 3,500 members of the institute across the length and breadth of the country are participating. I am extremely thankful to our president, CA Atul Kumar Gupta, and to the Vice President Nihar Jambusaria for assisting and associating with this particular webinar. And I'm informed that maybe because of their pre-scheduled meeting, they would be also addressing us at the end of this webinar. And let me also place on record with, I join my chairman in wishing happy birthday to our president, which happens to be on this momentous day. So with this, friends, I'm extremely thankful to Deepak Batraji, who is our committee member, for associating with this event, and CA Amitabh Ray, who is an expert in this particular field, and he has also agreed to share knowledge and experience with us as speakers of this VCM. So welcome CA Sumita Ray and Deepak Batraji. With these words, I return to Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitesh sir, for your overview on this subject. Now it's my privilege to introduce today's speaker, C. Sumita Bhare sir, by qualification MCOM and FCA. He has experience of 21 years of post-qualification experience. He did graduation from St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, and post-graduation from Annamalai University. He experienced in financial audits, accounting, and financial management of urban local bodies, due diligence and financial assessment in taxes and fiscal planning, in business process engineering, in budgetary reforms, in capacity building and implementing sustainability strategies. He specializes in financial management, government accounting, and implementing computerized accounting systems, and implementing financial and accounting reforms in government systems. Experience of working for DFID assisted programs in Calcutta Municipal Corporation, Panchayat Raj Development Department, West Bengal, USAID assisted Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation, 14 Municipal Corporation of Madhya Pradesh, 28 municipalities of Bihar, ADB funded projects in Kolkata Municipal Corporation, in Corporation of Chennai, ADB assisted institutional development assignments municipality in Tripura, Mizoram, Sikkim, and in Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, and in WB assisted municipal tax fee improvement assignments in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Rajasthan. He has also worked for 3 municipalities of Gujarat under World Bank assistant due diligence of project appraisal in KEIP and project completion appraisal of KEIP and of Rajasthan also. Financial due diligence of appraisal of West Bengal drinking water sector improvement project, working as an institutional development specialized in World Bank assisted Mizoram state road projects, and financial management specialist in Tamil Nadu under ADB, etc. He is working now as international fiduciary management specialist in Nepal for school sector development program, as a team leader and public financial management specialist for strengthening municipal financial management program of Narayanganj City Corporation in Bangladesh under ADB law. So, sir, welcome on behalf of Pune branch, and I request you please take the charge of session. Over to you, C. Reza.
Many thanks, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, the Chairman of the Pune branch, the Vice Chairman of the Pune branch, and all my fellow colleagues whom I can't see. That's a big problem of this pandemic, because previously I had been taking a lot of sessions for SIRC, CIRC, WIRC, but all on the virtual, all on the physical meet. But this is the first time I'm organizing or holding a webinar. I had attended some webinars, but never this is the first time. So there will be some issues with the logistics and the infrastructure. So kindly excuse me. So I share my screen now. The technical department, please help me if I face any issue.
Sure, sir.
Am I visible? Is the screen visible? Technical team?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I start my presentation. Now, I first thank Chairman of the CPGFM, the Vice Chairman of CPGFM, definitely thanking the President and the Vice President and the Pune branch to organize a program which is very, very pertinent, as our Chairman of the committee has already deliberated. The Vice Chairman has also spoken about it. Now, before I go on to the presentation, I can just take the cue from where Chairman had left, that there is scope for chartered accountants. I am a chartered accountant. I qualified in 1998. I was in a regular practice in a firm for 6 years. Then I switched over in 2004. And that is also because of ICAI ARF, the Accounting Research Foundation. Since 2004 and to date, 2020, 16 years I am here. So if one chartered accountant can come to this sector and help the government sector, then definitely there are scope, there are opportunities of many such chartered accountants to come. And definitely there is scope. We will discuss about that one by one. Now, whatever I would be doing, I would be sharing my experiences mostly, my knowledge and experience that I have gained. And from the education point of view, we are all on the same boat, on the same platform. So there is no big thing you have to learn here. You only have to apply whatever we have learned during our career, during our courses which the institute has conducted, and during the many examinations that we have appeared. Now, I have appeared for many examinations before qualifying. So whatever I have learned during that period, we try to apply that, and we have come over here. Now, before I start, I just want to give a disclaimer that whatever I would be discussing over here, they are all is a personal views. They are not necessarily the views of ICI or the regional branch of ICI or any member or any government authority. So kindly excuse me if I have transgressed my brief, but all these opinions are mine. My second special note is I want a request, or I want to have a permission from the chairman of the committee, the chairman of the session, is that this particular session which you have allotted me was about local body accounting and the scope of chartered accountants. Now, sir, with your kind permission, I have changed the term of this presentation to local body and government accounting. Now, there is a reason for doing so. Now, the 15th Finance Commission, which was constituted in 2017, gave its report for the year 2021 in November 2019, which is available in the Finance Ministry website. Now, in that website, in that report, what the 15th Finance Commission is recommending is that whatever accounting system was there of the ULBs, that is urban local bodies, which were following the NMAM, the National Municipal Accounting Manual, or the PRIs, the PRI soft, they need to be upgraded and integrated with the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, of the state government, wherever it exists, and the Public Financial Management System, PFMS, of the CGA, the Controller General of Accounts. Now, for timely availability of accounts and audit. Now, this has not happened yet. This is going to happen. Now, all these days, all these years, we have been doing accounting of the ULBs and the PRI, the Panchayat, wherever it was happening. But now there is a scope that this integration will happen, and probably my fellow chartered accountants can understand that whatever scope we had previously, that this scope is going to multiply if these things actually happens on ground. Now, I won't give any further information on this because I know personally that some work is already on this. But since it is not in the public domain, let's not discuss about that. But this particular piece of information will definitely bring some cheers to the ears and eyes of our fellow members that there is going to be some more scope coming up. Therefore, what I have done, I have increased the scope of the presentation from local body accounting to local body and government accounting, because I have worked with state governments personally, so I know how the state government the accounting happens. But I have not worked with directly with the central government accounting, though I have worked in some way with ICRF in some other departments. So I have increased the scope, and with the permission of the chair, I think it will be accepted. Now, my presentation outline, I will try to close within my time, is about the overview of local body and government accounting. Now, why I am putting it on record that overview of local body and government accounting in India is necessary to know in this presentation or during this presentation is that I don't know who are the participants. And in fact, initially I understood that the participants will be from Maharashtra because Pune branch is organizing. But today morning I came to know that this presentation or this program is for the entire country, and 3,500 chartered accountants have joined in this program. So I don't know who knows about local body and government accounting system or whether they have any knowledge. Just to give them a knowledge that what happens there, I have brought it over here. Then what is the progress of local body and government accounting reforms in India? Just to give you an idea what happened during the past 30-40 years, how it happened. Then I will come to the opportunities for CAs in the local body and government accounting. Now, one, the opportunities in accounting only. Then I will be discussing other opportunities for CAs within the government sector. And most importantly, what are the challenges envisaged? The challenges basically are my own experiences, what I have seen, because for the last 16, 17 years I'm working in this sector. I know a lot of challenges have come. I mean, it's not a very easy thing. I mean, nothing is very easy in life, but this has got some peculiar challenges. So we will discuss about the challenges. And then if the chair gives an opportunity for a discussion or a questionnaire session, then we'll go ahead with that. Now, let's start with the technical part, the overview of local body and government accounting in India. Now, let's start with the local bodies. Now, local bodies are basically in the third tier of the government. Local bodies directly influence the welfare of the people, the civic, the social, the economic infrastructure services in the urban. Now, in the urban sector, basically the urban local bodies, and in the rural areas, we call them Panchayati Raj institutions or PRI. Now, urban local bodies, as Vice Chairman has rightly pointed out, basically broken or taken up into three parts. Basically, they are the municipal corporations, which are the large organizations, then the municipalities for the smaller or less than the bigger towns, and then we have municipal councils or town areas, which are for the peri-urban or those towns which are going to become bigger municipalities. So this is a local body's institutional structure. Now, the local government units, or sometimes we call them LGU, now they are the independent institutional units whose fiscal, legislative, executive authority over the smallest geographical areas are distinguished for administration and political purpose. Now, in India, in the third tier of the government, we have a democratic process of elections, electing the mayor, the chairman, the councillors, corporators, ward councillors, etc., etc. So this is the basic structure. Now, this structure is very important to know, because when we do company accounts or company audits, we know how the company structure. It is formed by your shareholders, there is a board of directors, who are the board of directors, who is the CFO. So this structure we have well embedded in our knowledge. Now, when you go to the local government units, the knowledge of the institutional structure is very important. Then only we will be able to understand the institution well. Now, constitutional amendments, the 73rd and the 74th that happened in 1992 and 1993 is basically what I can say is a starting platform for the reforms. The 73rd and the 74th amendment added separate parts and chapters to the constitution, which gave the ULB and the PRIs more functions, powers and resources, and made them self-independent. Now, till then they were dependent on the state governments, because the municipalities and the panchayats were under the state law, under the state list of the constitution. Now, by the 73rd and 74th Amendment, they became independent. Now, when they became independent, not a department of the state, their accounting became important, they became independent, and then they were covered by the state-specific legislations. So, accounting of the third tier of the local governments are governed by the state-specific legislations. Now, here there is a problem in the sense that this is not a uniform law that we have like a Companies Act or Income Tax Act or now the Goods and Services Tax Act. Now, they are all mandatory in the same line and breadth, in the same lines of provisions across India. But in the case of urban local bodies and the PRIs, they are different to different states. So this we should keep in mind. Now, accounting in urban local bodies, how it is happening, state-specific legislations. State-specific accounting manual had been drafted based on the National Municipal Accounting Manual. So the National Municipal Accounting Manual, or NMAM, had been developed in 2004. It was shared by the government. At that time it was MOUD, Minister of Urban Development. Now it is MOHUA, Minister of Housing, Urban and Housing Affairs, Housing and Urban Affairs. So basically the MOUD gave the model National Municipal Accounting Manual to all states for its adoption. Some states have adopted exactly in the same language. Some states have made some variations at some places to keep it aligned with the state government's laws. But it is more or less adopted now. As far as I know, all states except maybe one or two have not yet passed, but all have basically developed this their state municipal manual. Now, in principle, the adoption of accrual-based double accounting system is there. In principle adoption. Now, please mark the word in principle. So there is an in principle adoption of accrual-based double entry accounting system, ABDS, by state governments and the ULBs. The problem comes, there are no uniform accounting software is in place. So the accounting, whatever is happening in the ULBs, they have developed their own software, either some reform programs of the Government of India or under the funded projects of World Bank and ADB. So somebody is using a Tally maybe, somebody using some modified version of something, somebody using an Oracle, somebody using something. So it is not uniform, but the manual is uniform, the principles are uniform. Now, the next problem comes. Many ULBs are still following the traditional and conventional cash-based accounting system in parallel. Now, here the problem lies, though the accounting is under the state-specific legislations, except a very few states like Bihar. Bihar had embedded this particular sentence in the legislation, but not all states have done that. The accounting will be based on the manual developed for this purpose. Therefore, under the state-specific legislations, still the conventional cash-based accounting system is there, but due to the schemes like Amrut, JNURM, URF, etc., these ULBs are following the double entry accounting system. So there are, at some places, there are two parallel systems are going. Now, definitely this is creating some problems, but government has to realize that how this problem can be settled and solved. But chartered accountants definitely will have their own version of the problem. They can direct or advocate or consult with the government to help the government. Now, accounting in rural local bodies or PRI, what is happening? Again, it is state-specific legislations. Now, state-specific accounting manual or guidelines are there, but there is no model manual like NAM. As far as I know, still there are no model manual like NAM for the PRIs. But what is there? CNAG and MOPR have developed a model accounting formats or account formats for panchayats in 2009. So basically some accounting formats are there. Now, like ULBs have fully adopted the accrual-based double entry accounting system and running the cash-based accounting system in parallel, the PRIs are still following the cash-based accounting or single entry accounting system which the state governments have developed or they have advocated. But unlike the ULPs, the PRIs have a common accounting software in place called PRIA Accounting or called PRIA Soft, which has been developed by the NIC for the PRIs. But again, I will say, since it's a state-specific legislation, the state in which I belong to, West Bengal, they have a different accounting software, which is maybe a little like PRIA Soft, but it is actually not fully PRIA Soft. Some differences are there. Now, I have worked with West Bengal Panchayats about 6-7 years back, so I know about that, but I don't know what exactly recent developments have happened. But they don't have they are not following exactly that particular software. Now, there was the introduction of simplified system, which was supposed to create a base for the introduction of actual-based accounting. So basically, this is for the PRIs. Now, how it happened, the accounting in third tier of government. I mean, just to refresh our memories, those who know, and those who are new to the profession, those who have joined recently, just to give them an idea. Now, basically, all these accounting reforms in the local bodies, the urban and the rural local bodies, that started in during the period 80 to 90. So it is not a very new thing that has happened. But one can say how far we have achieved. Now, one can definitely argue and debate that we have not achieved much, which we are still having some problems, which we are still discussing on a morning of 2020, that how we can reforms. So what happened in 40 years? Now, there are problems. I mean, things have not happened very fast. Things took time because we are doing a reforms of a system, an accounting system, which has developed and which has been there for the last, say, 60, 70 years. Now, urban local bodies, municipal corporations, I've already told, the rural bodies, Jala Parishad, the Gram Panchayats, and the Panchayat Samitis, they are the rural local bodies, they have all followed cash basis accounting. 12th Finance Commission recommended ABDS by all municipalities that they have to migrate to ABDS. So basically the trigger started from the 12th Finance Commission. But it was happening prior to that also. But the government trigger started from the 12th Finance Commission. Then we have the judgment of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court in the Almitra Patel case. Now those who know about Almitra Patel case, they will recollect. Those who don't know, just to give you an idea, in the Almitra Patel case, this lady challenged or filed a writ petition that Municipal Corporation of Delhi, at that time it was MCD, was not clearing the garbage in front of her house. So when this matter came to the court said, MCD, why you are not clearing the garbage in front of our house? MCD says, we don't have money to clean or to clear. Then the Honorable Supreme Court says, please bring your balance sheet, we want to check whether you have money or not. The MCD says, we don't prepare balance sheet. Now that was the trigger. That what type of accounting you are doing where there is no balance sheet. Now, basically based on the Supreme Court judgment, CNAG developed a task force. That task force gave its recommendations. That recommendations followed, and we have the NAM. Now, all this has happened prior to 2004, and in 2004, this came. Now, when this Almitra Patel case was there was a program called URIF, Urban Reforms Infrastructure Fund, URIF. Now, that was basically between 1999 and 2004. During in that government of during 1990 to 2004, they came up with this urban renewal infrastructure fund, where accounting was made compulsory, but it was not exactly double entry accounting. Then came JNNURM, which ran from 2005 to 2012, where it was mandatory to have double entry accounting in municipalities, followed by the UID SSMT. Now they all said that reform your accounting system to implement ABDS based on the NMM. Now 13th Finance Commission again recommended ABDS to access performance grants. 14th Finance Commission also did that. We don't know about 15th Finance Commission report yet, so we will not comment upon that. But here I will say, in the first slide I have shown, the 15th Finance Commission have already said that you now start integrating your accounts with the state and the central government accounts. So basically, more work now. Now, there were mandatory covenant for loans extended by the multilateral funding agencies, which said that until and unless you have a double entry accounting system, we will not give loans to the municipalities or to the panchayat. So there is a loan covenant also. Now, coming to the government accounting system. Now, the government accounting system in India covers the central government and the state government accounts. Now, government accounts at now are presented on a cash basis against the actual basis, and which is consistent with the basis of budgeting adopted by the government. So why this is a cash basis of accounting is followed? Because the budgeting that the government has adopted is under cash basis. So if you have an accounting system on cash basis, both the two matches. So somebody from the audience may say that what is happening in the municipalities then? Now there lies a problem with the municipalities. Why? Because municipalities and accounting, they have migrated to actual accounting, but the budgeting system is still cash based. Now that is the reason why they are parallelly following the cash-based system, because until and unless they have a cash-based information coming, they are unable to prepare the budget. So there lies some technical issues, some theoretical issues in principle adoption of the in the accounting in urban local bodies. Now, we all know and we call it union budget, state budget. Now it is colloquially called, but if one refers to Article 112 of the Constitution, it is called annual financial statement. In the Constitution, there is no word called union budget and state budget, but it is union consolidated fund of the union and consolidated fund of the state, and we prepare annual financial statement as per Article 112. Now, the annual financial statement or the budget is a detailed estimate of the statement for the last year and estimated for the next year. So AFS is presented before the Parliament or Assembly between January to March. This we all know. Now, Article 150 prescribes that the accounts of the union and the state government shall be kept in such form as the President may on the advice of the CNAG prescribe. So basically CNAG prescribed the accounting, and the accounting is done by CGA. Now accordingly, all issues for accounting implications are forwarded to Comptroller and Auditor General for advice. The compilation and consolidation of the accounts of the union government is done by CGA. Now, as far my knowledge goes, the accounting of the union government is done by CGA and that of the state government by CAG. So there is some difference over here. Now, CAG is constitutionally and statutorily responsible for prescribing the format of the government accounts and for the preparation of the accounts of the state governments. So basically, CAG is constitutionally and responsible for the state government accounts. Now, in relation to the state account, the CAG is responsible for the compilation and preparation of the account of all state governments. CAG prepares the finance and accounts and appropriation accounts, submit this to the governor and then to the state legislature. The state government accounts are kept in such form as the President prescribed on the advice of the CAG. Now, CNAG also plays a key role in setting accounting standards for the government. The Government Account Standard Advisory Board, GAZAB, set up by the CNAG, developed the union and state governments. Now, as Chairman had already said, the accounting standards for the local bodies, this duty has been given to ICAI, who are developing the ASLB. Now, just for your information, I was a member of the committee of ASLB a couple of years back, but I could not participate in too many meetings because of my schedule with other work. But I used to follow, and I still follow the accounting standards for local bodies, which are coming up regularly, which are based on the IPSAS. So local bodies accounting standards are basically coming up from the, just hold on. Now, GASAB has also started developing the accounting standards on actual basis as Indian government financial reporting standards, IGFRS to facilitate migration to actual based accounting. So this is the overview of the government accounting. Now, just to give you a highlight, the government accounting system has been following for several centuries. You read Kautilya's Astra-Shastra, you will find that how the government accounting and financial reporting was happening. So it's a century-old practice that we have in India. But it is basically a cash-based accounting, cash-based bookkeeping, which has started in the British era period. Now, government have modernized the system of data collection, but again, they continued on the cash basis. Now we have the very digitally treasury system, computerized treasury system, etc. But still we are following the cash basis of accounting. Now, we all know that there are some problems with cash-based accounting. So let's not discuss that in detail because other speakers will also say that what are the problems of cash-based accounting, but still government are following that. Now, government accounts are basically, now here government means all governments accounts are prepared basically to prepare to satisfy the legal requirements than to serve as a decision making. Now, this is one problem that the chartered accountants must understand, that we have to build that idea within the government system that please use your balance sheet, please use your financial statements for decision making. This is not just for a signature and keeping it aside in some file, because I don't know. I mean, I can jolly well say this statement. I don't know how many of us within appearing for this or attending this program has read the annual financial statements of your own state government or annual financial statements of the central government, which is available on the website. We don't see the annual financial statements. We just wait for the budget day. We just hear out what are the tax incentives, tax rates, etc. and we close the budget day. But sirs, my fellow chartered accountants, please go to the website of any state government, please go to the website of the central government, download their budget, not the budget, annual financial statements, and read it. Why? Because we are the stakeholders of this company. We are the people. So we the people, as the stakeholders of the company, must know what's happening. We must know how the government is functioning. What is the state of the state finances? Now this is the first step that we must take to understand the financial statements of the government. Municipality financial statements are also available in various websites of various municipalities. Please download that. Please see what they are doing. Now, one thing definitely I can say, this is my statement, it definitely doesn't present a complete picture the way the financial statements are done, like a commercial entities do. There are many limitations in the existing system of the government accounting principles and the practice. Now, again, the ownership of the finance and accounts and the appropriation governments essentially lies with the state governments. Accounts are signed by CNEG in the capacity as comptroller of accounts. The audit certificate or opinion, the international, it says correct, but the international practice is always to state it as a true and fair or fairly represents, but our audit certificates say it's correct. Now, the transactions are all not always aligned to the FRBM legislations, so there are some mismatches what is still required to be done over here. Now, the existing system of accounting for plan schemes, both for states and centers, they do not adequately support the informed planning. Like what is happening, some states and center is coming with a scheme or a plan, they just push it, they implement it, but it does not get it reflected in the annual financial statements properly. So more work is required, more knowledge is required that need to be shared with the government. Now, how the government accounting progressed or the reforms progressed in India? Now, the trigger for accounting reforms. Why the accounting reform started? There was a need for a paradigm shift, the conceptual shift for evolving better public financial management. That's why in our institute we have this committee which is called CPGFM now. Now, it was not there when we were just entering the profession. It is there now. So basically, more thoughts are coming into the whole public financial management. Reliable and real-time information was required. Sovereign debt crisis, because we in India have been taking a lot of loans from World Bank, ADB and other multilateral financial institutions. So they require a sustainability of the government programs. So they require more accounting data. Limitations of cash accounts were there, non-availability of payables, receivables, provisions. And the accounting system over the world, across the world, every country have started revisiting their accounting system, the government accounting system. Now, the international experience, many countries, I will just come to the details, many countries have moved from cash to actual system of accounting, transition from rules to standards-based financial reporting. Now, we all know we are in corporate accounting, we are now following the standard-based financial reporting. So it's moving from rules, now government is also starting from rules to standard-based financial reporting. Over 80 countries have either adopted or in transition to that of the standard-based. Now, our country has also started doing that. Now, the international experience shows that large number of international organizations have reported or gone to the standard-based financial reporting where, like the United Nations, the NATO, the OECD, the Interpol, the European Commission, now these have all gone to the standard-based financial reporting. Now, accrual accounting and accrual budgeting, both accrual accounting, accrual budgeting has been accepted or adopted by New Zealand and Australia. Only actual accounting at the government level has been done by United Kingdom, USA, Canada, France, Indonesia, Turkey and Singapore. Now, for your information, my fellow colleagues, India has also started this process. I will come to that later on. Now, what are the initiatives taken by the government in India? In 2002, GSA-B was formed, the GASAP was created. Then the 12th Finance Commission supported the actual accounting in 2004. Then in 2006, CNAG, we had the Technical Competent Accounting Standards for the ULB. 2008, the Technical Competent Accounting Standards PRI. The 13th Finance Commission supported the bubble-up approach to the actual accounting. 2009, in the second Administrative Reforms Commission report, it endorsed actual accounting. So basically, all steps straight out of the government, central, state, and the local bodies, they all have to move to actual accounting. So these are the initiatives started by the government. Now, how the accounting reform actually now, that was there, but what actually happened? Now, in 2006-07, with support of the World Bank, the Government of India appointed ICAI-ARF, the Accounting Research Foundation. Now, I was a part of that team in 2006 and 7, and at that time, the Honorable Secretary was Ashok Haldia ji. Under him, we started this pilot study to migrate the actual-based accounting of the following entities. Now, basically, in 2006-07, 4 divisions of CPWD were picked up, which are Electrical 2 Division, in New Delhi Zone 1, the Civil Maintenance Division, the Parliament Works 4 Division, and the Horticulture 3 Division, and Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Basically, these 4 units of CPWD and Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, they were all taken that how a pilot study can help them to migrate to actual-based accounting. We did a lot of things. We did a little study. Basically, it was a study and a reporting. Then Department of Post started this. The New Delhi GPO, the Narayana Industrial Post Office, they also started shifting to actual-based accounting. Now, other initiatives like Department of Telecommunication in CCS Circle in Maharashtra, the CSD canteen of the defense, they migrated to actual accounting. Then was the basic, trigger started from the Minister of Railways, the Accounting Reforms Project. Now, basically, the Minister of Railways started this presentation of financial statements should be compliant to GAAP in conformity with the Government of India's accounting reporting standards and facilitation of measurement of performance, because railways is a performance-based service sector, so the performance has to be measured. So a lot of things happened. Now the railways accounting reform started in 2003 because it was at that time the budget was presented, and it was said that the Minister of Railways will move to actual-based accounting. And in 2004-05, railways under funding from Asian Development Bank started this project. But after it started in 2006. This particular reforms initiative got some problems. It went into a limbo, nothing happened, things got stalled, etc., etc. Then ICAI-ARF was again called very recently, and they were said, let's start afresh with Ajmer. Then under the Northwestern Front Railways, Ajmer was chosen for a pilot implementation, and it started more or less in 2013-14. Work is still going on. Now, a lot of chartered accountant firms were appointed by ICAI-ARF for this particular flagship project of the for the Indian Railways. Now, a pilot study was done, and accounting in Ajmer division and Ajmer group of workshops. Compilation was done. Profit and loss account balance sheet was prepared. Detailed manual was prepared, and ICAI-ARF appointed many chartered accountant firms to accomplish this task. Now, I exactly don't know what is actually happening of this particular project, but as I understood, this is still on. Firms are still working. Minister of Railways is still working. Now, state government accounting reforms. Now, as far my knowledge goes, not much happened, but some triggers happened. 22 states agreed in principle to migrate to actual-based accounting. In Andhra Pradesh, there was a pilot study. In Madhya Pradesh, there was a pilot study. In Jammu and Kashmir, there was a task group. Now, this all happened during 2012 and 13, but I don't know what happened after that. But as far as I know, not much happened. So things are yet to start over here. So as an opportunity, there may be some future opportunities for all of us to work in this area. Now, accounting in the third tier government, because that was the basic topic of today, the urban and rural local bodies. Now, in urban and rural local bodies, the thing started in 81. Basically from 1981 it started, and it started with Chennai under a World Bank assistance. It was in Mumbai and Kolkata. So basically they targeted the 3 big municipalities at that time and under a World Bank to migrate to actual accounting. Now, between 19 to 95, 7 cities of Gujarat went to under a World Bank TA, under the Gujarat Urban Development Project. Between 97 to 2001, statewide accounting reforms happened in Tamil Nadu under the Tamil Nadu Urban Development Fund, or TNUDF leadership. Then in Karnataka, 55 ULBs were taken up under the Nirmal Nagara program under the assistance of ADB. And then World Bank came with the remaining 158 municipalities under the Karnataka Municipal Reform program, or came up again. Then in Anand, Jaipur and Tumkur, there was under IDBTA, Mirzapur under Ganga Action Plan. In 2002, or between 2002 and 2007, Andhra Pradesh under phase 1 of the DFID program of Andhra Pradesh Urban Services for Poor program, and under the phase 2 under the World Bank funding, all municipalities started migrating. Now see, over here, the municipalities have started migrating long back from 81, and they are following the process, and it's going on. Now, in 2006-7, Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation was there under the USAID funding. I was a part of the team over there. In 2002-2004, MCD again under ICARF, under World Bank funding. I was a part at the flag end of the program or the implementation. Then in 2004 to 2006, that was basically I started my urban local body or municipality my career over here in Kolkata Municipal Corporation, again under ICARF, because I was earlier employed by ICARF or not consulting for ICARF as an employment as a consultant. Then 14 Municipal Corporation of Madhya Pradesh under DFID, 28 municipalities of Bihar. Now Bihar have increased to all the municipalities. Madhya Pradesh have expanded to all municipalities. The 5 municipal councils of the Northeast, like Tripura, Agartala, Tripura, Gangtok of Sikkim, they moved to accrual-based accounting. Then the PRI's accounting happened through the PRI, the Priya software or the Priya soft, and they are doing under the cash-based, but it's a sort of a double entry accounting system. So it's not an accrual-based accounting, it's a cash-based double entry accounting system. Now, opportunities. Now, as I've told you during my start of the program, after 2004, or rather from 2003 onwards, I'm involved in this sector. I'm still going on, and I like this sector. So I definitely feel that out of the 3,500 listeners today, somebody would definitely get interested or definitely think that why not just try a hand to know the knowledge. Maybe we may not earn a lot of money, but definitely we will earn a lot of knowledge. So why only restrict ourselves to the corporate accounting and the corporate auditing? Why not government accounting and the government processes? Now, definitely with the involvement of ICRF in the Ministry of Railways project and with the involvement of our committee for which we are representing or which we are discussing today, the CPGFM. Now, if this committee and the institute, our mother institute thinks that chartered accountants should play a role in this implementation, so definitely we will all get a job. Because getting a job over here is really difficult. It doesn't come on a plate that, you come and do this accounting. It's really a fight for that job. But if the institute and everybody helps, that's a request from my side also. As a listener of this program also, I will say, if the institute can help us, definitely we'll get more assignments out of this. Now, if Government of India continues beyond Ministry of Railways, there are so many departments. If this accounting reform start, the need of accounting professionals would increase by leaps and bounds in the future. Now, there'll be a lot of opportunities would come up, but government has to open and think that actual accounting is required. Now, set aside the actual accounting of government, central government. Think about the accounting of the state governments. Now, there are so many state governments, the union territories, they if also start opening up the sectors for their departments, this will really help, the opportunities, create opportunities for our chartered accountants, for us, everybody. And when we are already into the urban and rural local bodies, we know there are requirement of professional accountants, but you have to be professional here. You cannot just bring your corporate accounting and audit idea to the urban accounting and the rural accounting. It's difficult. It's different. So we will discuss about that later on, but it's different. So we have to have that idea, the knowledge. So what I think as a person, that all it needs a push from the government for implementing the financial and accounting reforms in the government. So we need a trigger. So the trigger has to be there. Now, in urban local bodies, what we can have, what opportunities we can think of, we can think of conversion of traditional accounts to ABDS. Now, as of now, many municipalities, urban local bodies have already shifted, but as I have told you, they are still following the cash-based accounting parallelly. So basically, they have not actually embedded the system into their system. So still, chartered accountants are helping them to migrate or to prepare the accounts under the ABDS. So what is actually maybe happening, The urban local bodies, they have got an accounts department. They are preparing the traditional system, and the chartered accountants are preparing the double entry accounting system. Sometimes they do not match. Sometimes the ideologies do not match. Sometimes there are clash of principles also, but it is happening because there is a force on them to prepare the ABDS. Now this force must end. There should be a logical synergy between the two, that we have a converted accounting system only. Now this will take time. This has not happened yet. Very few municipalities have totally embedded the entire system. So lot of opportunities will come up to the chartered accountants to embed the system. Now, preparation of opening balance sheet and fast accounts. Now, it is less required as of now, but few days back I was listening to somebody that accounting reforms in urban local bodies in Uttar Pradesh, I don't know how many are there from Uttar Pradesh, have not actually moved a lot. So there are gaps in Uttar Pradesh, as I've heard. So maybe in Uttar Pradesh, chartered accountants may get an opportunity to prepare opening balance sheet and their first accounts also. Now I may be wrong, but somebody told me that there are some gaps in Uttar Pradesh and in some other smaller states. Now, maintenance of accounts under ABDS, either you are using a tally system or some Oracle system or any system, continue to maintenance of accounts, definitely there will be job for other chartered accountants. Then the valuation of municipal assets. Now this is a very, very grey area in our urban local body. We do not know, or the municipalities or the municipal corporations do not know how many assets are there. What are the value of those assets, where they are lying. There are no proper asset register. There is something called tools and plants register or TNP register, where they record the dead assets. Dead assets means those assets which have come and just it is there. It is dead for them, but it is not dead for a chartered accountant. An asset produces revenue. So basically when asset produces revenue, we cannot call it a dead asset. We have to prepare a live municipal asset register. Now, valuation of municipal assets, creation of municipal assets register is a work that has not happened widely in all states. Now, in another session, someday I can say that what are the pitfalls of municipal asset valuation or how a municipal asset valuation is done. So that's a separate chapter, or maybe my later speaker can take up this issue. Now, our chairman had already pointed out about the municipal bonds. Now, please read the SEBI regulations of 2015. SEBI has come up with the regulations in 2015 about issue of municipal bonds. Now, for issue of municipal bonds, all accounts must be actual-based double entry accounting system. They have to prepare the balance sheet, their financial statements, as a corporate does. SEBI has regulated that. Now, very few municipalities have gone, like Ahmedabad has gone, Surat has gone, Bombay has gone, Bangalore, and other municipalities have issued municipal bonds. There are a lot of scope for issuing of municipal bonds, and I was working in a team with the Ministry of Urban Development few years back for issuing of municipal bonds. But when we came to the accounts, we got stuck because we could not move further. So basically, the accounting has to be reviewed. Now, then there is a job for review and updating the existing state accounts manual. There is a business process re-engineering with reference to the actual system of accounting, categorization, grouping, and subgrouping of assets and liabilities. Now, mind it, these are not very common things that a finance and accounts department of the municipality does regularly. So they are not aware how to categorize, how to group, how to subgroup an assets and liabilities. What is a current asset? What is a non-current asset? What is a current liabilities, non-current liabilities? They are not at all aware of this because those systems were not there. So we, the chartered accountants, must educate them, must grow their knowledge, and definitely work with them. Designing and updating the chart of accounts with accounting codes. This is a very interesting area of chart of accounts with accounting codes. How to design a chart of account, how to design an accounting code. So these are jobs going to come up. These are there. These are all there. Now, the urban local bodies, preparing the annual financial statements of ULBs. Now, this is happening regularly. I know many chartered accountants in Rajasthan, in Tripura, in Karnataka are doing the annual financial statement. So they are doing so. Appropriate accounting policies and advocacy on that. Now, again, I will tell you, the municipalities, their officers, the administrative officers, the bureaucrats, they are not aware of the accounting policies. What is a exchange transaction? What is a non-exchange transaction? The accounting standards are going to be over here now. We're going to adopt that accounting standard very soon. What is an accounting standard? How we define a policy? Now, these are a lot of advocacy things will come up. Now, please gear up yourself. Please learn these things. Please have a homework done before we take the jump to swim the river and swim the sea. Now, it won't be a river anymore. It will be a sea of requirement. So please upgrade yourself. Then there will be training of finance and accounts personnel and training of trainers. Now, this will go on. Now, see, today I am again training. Why I am training or giving this lecture today? Because I have learned few things during the last 16, 17 years. Now, so basically when you gain the knowledge, there will be a requirement to disseminate the knowledge also. So the training of finance and accounts personnel will be there. Definitely, I am missing the lunch that should have been hosted by Pune branch. I am missing the coffee. I am missing the tea that would have enjoyed in a break. But it would be there someday when COVID-19 won't be there. But again, we will come together. But this training will continue. Now, under the rural local bodies, opportunities for accounting in PRIs, I don't know how far it has opened, but as I understood, it has not opened much, but it would open up. So please, the chartered accountants should be prepared for this jump. Now, we can count urban local bodies, but we will not be able to count how many panchayats are there. It's a huge number. So please be ready. Now, also, Government of India has come up with the National Assets Directory. Our Vice Chairman sir had already said about this. Now, one, if you have to know what is a National Assets Directory, please go to the assetdirectory.gov.in website. Please see there are a lot of advocacy and assistance will be required from us, the chartered accountants, to the panchayats and to the government. Then, advocacy and training of the personnel in the rural local bodies will also continue. And last, I would mention, this is going to happen. I mean, again, I would not give you too much of a great picture, of a very rosy picture over here, but there are some work is going on for harmonization of the accounts of ULBs and PRIs with the state and the central government. Now, this is not even on the drawing board. This is on a discussion board. So a lot of things may going to happen if this becomes successful. The last point. Now, again, I would say, I'm not giving a very rosy picture over here. But if this really happens, as been said in the Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission preliminary report, if this really happens, then please, we will have a lot of job. We will have a lot of sleepless nights also. Now, what are the other opportunities for chartered accountants in government sector? Now, I don't know, many of you must be doing, there are statutory audit of the government's project accounts, like that will continue like before, like the National Health Mission, National Livelihood Mission, Urban and Rural, for Amrut. These statutory audits will go on. Now again, these are not exactly the corporate audit that we do. These are a little bit different, little bit principle-based auditing of the statutory audit. So chartered accountants are doing so. I hope they will continue to do this. There are statutory audits of the special purpose vehicles. Now immediately I can remember what are the special purpose vehicles under the Companies Act of 2013. The Smart City Mission companies, the Smart City Mission Limited companies that every 100 city has opened. So basically for 100 Smart City Mission companies are there and their audits are there, which has to be done under the Companies Act. Now though this is a government funded body, but the audit has to be done under the Companies Act 2013. Now, internal audit of various mission mode programs are going on. Now, frankly speaking, I was not a part of the audit program very recently. I used to do it very long back. So government-funded projects, internal audit of government undertakings are continuing. So mission programs, internal audit are there. Now, next is the fiscal reform. Now, this is an area which I am specializing in now, or I am working regularly over here now. The fiscal reforms initiated on the present programs like Amrut, the Smart City Mission. Now, what are the fiscal reforms? Basically, the local bodies, I'm not talking about the central government and the state government, because central government and state governments have their fiscal taxes, etc. very defined. But in municipalities, they also levy a tax called property tax. Now, property tax is like a direct tax, and it's not a it's a direct tax. And basically, property tax reforms are yet to happen. Now, there are a lot of scopes under the property taxes reforms. Now, that is going to come up. I basically working as a property tax expert and a fiscal expert in various municipalities. Now, along with taxes, there will be non-tax reforms also. Like non-tax reforms are basically user charges, like water charge, SWM charge, toll fee, etc. Now, basically, how do we calculate these charges? How do we evaluate these charges? So again, there will be requirement of finance professional and government obviously would rely on chartered accountants for a finance professional. So that would be there. Now, also there will be requirement of chartered accountants would increase when government implements the financial management reforms, basically the budgeting reforms. So once the budgeting reform starts, when the harmonization starts, there will be a lot of requirement for our chartered accountants will grow. Now, assistance for computerization. Now, I also worked sometimes, I have seen many chartered accountants working for computerization of the accounting and fiscal system because we bring the domain knowledge. So we bring the domain knowledge and assistance for computerization can happen. Now, advising the local bodies in local or the statutory compliances that we all know, IT and GST. Now, this has been I can say a little bit of game changer because various government organizations, government departments, they don't know actually how these statutory compliances are done through an online system, etc., etc. So, various chartered accountants are working with government departments for the IT and GST. Now, I won't say this is a very big job. This is a regular job like any corporate body, but still somebody are working with the local bodies, somebody are working with the government departments. Now, design and implement the budgetary control system in actual accounting. Now, this is yet to open, but again, expected the budgetary control system will open up. Implementation of accounting standards will come in the local bodies while the state government mandates its implementation. So, these are some of the opportunities for chartered accountants in other sectors. Now, also, sectors or organizations like Asian Development Bank and World Bank, which grants loans and central governments. Now, ADB and World Bank insists to the central government, the state government, and the local government that whenever you do a financial reforms project or any financial analysis or a financial due diligence, please deploy a chartered accountant in India. Now, for this, I am fortunate that I worked extensively with ADB and World Bank in various with the state government. I got an opportunity. Now I can again say many chartered accountants, if they little bit develop themselves, do a little bit of homework, they can also get some opportunities over here. Now, where we are required at the time of processing of loans, because when ADB and World Bank grants a loan, they process a loan. Now, mind it, ADB and World Bank are banks. Now, they may not be like State Bank or a Union Bank. They are a development bank. So they come with a development attitude. They come with a development idea, but they still give a loan. So during the processing of a loan and a grant, there are requirement of chartered accountants for what? To undertake a detailed financial viability assessment. A financial viability assessment would be required for World Bank funding, ADB funding. Again, this is the domain of our knowledge. We can do it. We can do it best. Now, update and gather information is required to do the sample financial models. We have to develop financial models like we do the IRR calculation, the FIRR calculation, EIRR calculation. Again, I am doing this. Many chartered accountants are doing this, but not many are doing so. So there are opportunities over here also. During the processing of loans and grants, again, providing the financial analysis assessment, project processing reports, preparing an assessment of the revenue streams of the government bodies, that where from they can recover the loan, where they from pay the loan. Now, there won't be an NPA because all these loans are sovereign loans taken by the government of India, taken by the government of state government. These are backed up by some guarantees. There won't be any NPAs over here. But these loans has to be processed. The loans has to be seen, monitored, whether they are giving the particular, that backup to the ADB and World Bank, whether they will be able to repay the loan. So assessment of revenue streams are also important for a loan, like tariff setting, service tariff setting, etc. Conducting the financial management assessment, this is absolutely to understand the accounting, the reporting system, auditing arrangements of a government body which is taking the loan. Again, I have done many FMAs. Now again, chartered accountants can do an FMA also. Now, during the implementation of the loans and when the loan has been processed, the loan has come, there also there will be a requirement to maintain the project accounts of the project management unit. Now, these project accounts, the ADB and World Bank insist, they must be based on the actual based accounting. There will be disbursement and reporting procedures. Again, we can understand the financial objectives of disbursement and reporting. The annual budgets, accounting, CNAG audit, we can always take part in this, and there are different accounting reports. Now I know my time is coming up, so I should hurry up. Now, during the implementation of loans and grants, again, for assisting in ensuring smooth flow of funds, obtaining reimbursement from ADB and World Bank, supporting the financial officers, etc., this has to be there. Now, training, definitely a part of the process. Now, I will just briefly touch upon the challenges. Now, what I have seen over the years is that when CAs have come to do the accounting jobs, they have taken an audit approach to do it. Please don't take an audit approach to do government accounting, because we must understand that approach to audit and the approach to accounting will be different. It's a consulting and advocacy work, because whenever we say we are a chartered accountant, all government officers get frightened that they think that somebody has come to audit us. So please don't audit, just do the consulting and the advocacy work. Now, structuring of the existing set of accounts under the new format, we must understand the whole process. Now, CAs have prepared sometimes accounts and submitted an audit certificate while doing an account. Please don't do this. Don't give an audit certificate when you are doing an accounting job. Now, also these jobs come with a government tendering process. So please learn about the government tendering process. This is not a very easy thing. Again, you have to learn how the tendering process happens, how the tendering process of World Bank happens. So this is an important thing. Now, you should think, or you should learn that the bidding is a different thing. It's not like a MEP or multi-empanelment thing up. It's a bidding, so has to be done in a different manner. So please have a professional approach to bidding. Just don't put some loose papers and just step in it and submit your bid, because this will create a problem. Also, price quoting has to be very important. Please don't quote very low, because if you quote very low, you will not be able to complete the job, because we have ultimately have to do the job. So price quoting is very, very important. And if I would request the institute and the committee that if there can be a fixed budget selection where the government quotes a fee and we just give our own criteria or credentials to do the job, it would be good. So when the job will be done at a proper budget. Otherwise, if the quotes are very low, it will be very, very difficult. Now, lastly, professional approach towards preparation. Now, again, this is not a standard formatted audit report that we all sign. It has to be prepared, has to articulate and prepare the reports are your language also. And these reform projects are separate from regular audit and tax practice. So please, the CA firms must create a separate team to pursue such tasks. Because if you have the same team doing everything, we will not be able to the other participants have responded or how they're responding, but hopefully I have ended within 11:30, that the time slot given to me. So if you have questions, chairman of the session can direct me that how to respond to the things. Thank you. Am I visible? I don't know.
Yes, sir, you are visible.
Yeah.
No questions in live chat so far. Okay, so sir, thanks a lot. Wonderful session and insights on your topics. I thank and give my sincere thanks on behalf of Pune branch,
Thank
all
you.
the participants to you. Thank you, sir. Kashinath Patharis, Treasurer and Secretary is there. I request Kashinath, please take the charge for next session. Over to you, Kashinath.
Thank you, Samir. I am audible, Samir.
Yes, you're audible, Kashinath.
Good morning, all of you. Welcome all of you to today's second session, Professional Opportunities for Chartered Accountants in Local Bodies. Today we have CA Deepak Batra. I think Deepak Batra sir is there. Sir, please video. Sir, you are not visible. Yes, sir. Now visible.
All right.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Deepak sir, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Today we have CA Deepak Batra. He is a fellow member of ICI. He is also enrolled as peer reviewer of ICI. He is registered as a valuer of CCIT Raipur Chhattisgarh for class of assets, stock share, debenture, security share in partnership of bank business asset including goodwill. He has a project director of World Bank. He was instrumental in building up capacities of self and team members for undertaking special training focused on conversion of accounts maintained under single entry system into double entry system. He rendered various services to senior consultant to Indian Railway for conversion of the existing financial statement into double entry system. He has been director of assignment in relation to implementation of accrual-based double accounting system in more than 200 urban local bodies. He has participated in various workshops organized by ICI, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, World Bank, and for giving representation of experience and learning APDAS. He is a member of Finance Government Medical College, Alaipur. He represented government of Chhattisgarh before bifurcation committee constituted by Government of India for division of asset and liability for 23 corporations. He has served as a member committee of designing an accounting system for double entry accrual based account. He has served as a member of various tender committee of government PSU. He well first and working of local authority, smart city and Amrut project and reform municipal accounting. He served as a committee member of preparation of rule regulation and internal audits by ACDA. He have been undertaken ISO training, attended course of Six Sigma. Have participated in number of workshops, seminars for various representation on various topics such as management, leadership, account, including forensic audit. He is a project director for assignment in relation to agency, specialized monitoring ASM under Indian Bankers Association. He have experienced countries of work, lot of countries of including China, various European countries, Malaysia, Japan, Hong Kong, Mauritius, Dubai, Qatar, etc. He is working exclusively on the full-time basis of Patra, Deepak and Associate Chartered Accountant Raipur since 1990. He have done various government assignment during his tenure. He have been engaged of number of assignment relating to advising various government bodies on procedures of tender. He is designing of corporate finance structure, debt raising, syndication and documentation, trading finance and working capital management. He is a financial advisor to debtors and secured creditors, an investment banker to distressed companies, setting effort across loading for financial concerns to corporate. His specialization turnaround management, fiduciary services, capital placement, asset diversity. He has experienced substantially all phases of corporate recovery process, DRT, Surprise Act, company law matters. He is advising clients to international finance, corporate finance, structuring, international project finance, and trade finance. He is providing clients with independent formal valuation opinion that serve a variety of objectives, including business, acquisition or merger, refinancing and reorganization, FISL agreement, tax and regulatory compliance, etc. He is preparing on information package to facilitate decision-making, fruitful dissemination of information. He successfully conducted a detailed review business finance analysis, capital structuring, documentation, digital strategies, and project-based corporate finance skills. Sir, I briefly introduce you. We are honored to have you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would need some assistance in taking this presentation on. From my screen share, I'm not in a position to connect it. So can somebody help me over there? I've already sent the presentation, so somebody can run it.
Girish, can you hear? Girish? Girish is here.
Can you see the screen which I have just...
Yes, sir.
You can see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can then start this thing.
Okay, sir. Please start the session.
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to be with you. And thanks to the organizers. And thanks for the kind words about me. The topic which is assigned to me is practical issues in the convergence, or we may also call it conversion to accrual system of accounting. I have in the past been responsible as a project director or the team leader for conversion of single entry cash basis accounts into double entry accrual based system of accounting for around 200 urban local bodies in different parts of the country, and varying size and different location. So I bring that experience in this presentation for all those who are working in this space or those who intend to work in this space, as to what are the practical issues or difficulties we face normally when we talk about the convergence into the accrual system of accounting. For the present, I have confined my presentation into for the urban local body space, and in this presentation, I'm going to discuss about urban local bodies and the need for the accounting reforms, why we actually need accounting reform. Although my predecessor or the earlier speaker, CA Sumitavar AG, has already dealt this issue in detail, and I think very elaborately he has talked about the need for the accounting reforms and the opportunities which lie for the chartered accountants in this space. Then we are going to discuss something about the accrual-based double entry accounting system, and then the interesting and the challenging journey of convergence to the ABDS. And then we are going to talk about the practical issues and the suggested mitigation measures. Why I say that mitigation measures are also important to be discussed, because we all know that practical issues do come in. And when we do any assignment, like Mr. Ray also said, that nothing is easy in the life. So this is also not easy, but at the same time, coming out from my experience of around 200 odd urban local bodies, I can suggest some of the ways to how to deal with those practical issues, and for those who are either presently undergoing this kind of assignment or aspire to enter into this space. So as my earlier speaker have also said, and it was also dealt upon by Chitale sir, about what exactly is the local government. So when we talk about local government, it's the third tier. So central government is the first tier, state government is the second tier, and the local government is the third tier. And when we talk about urban local body, we either say, depending upon the size, depending upon the population, it is catering either municipal corporation or municipal council or the city council. Now here comes the major this thing, that the functions of urban local bodies are diverse. I mean, they do so many things that it is very difficult to pinpoint on one particular line that this is what is their job. In fact, anything and everything to do with citizen-centric thing in a defined area is the role and responsibility of the urban local body. So the urban local body is also the regulator, and when I say regulator, it gives the permissions. Any building permission would be under their scope, fire safety permissions, the trade licenses or the gumashta, and so many other regulatory permissions are there, which are done by the urban local body. Sanitation is one single largest service which is provided to citizens by any urban local body, and we did a survey also as to what kind of percentage of money which gets spent on the sanitation, and varying from 45% to 65%, the resources of the ULB get spent on sanitation. Therefore, there is a need to discuss, of course, in some other session, as to how to reduce this sanitation cost or to make it more workable from the point of view of generating revenue for the urban local body. One similar presentation was given by me earlier, and you would be surprised to know that sanitation cost has not only come to nil, it has actually started giving revenue to the ULB out of it, changing the process. So that there also lies the opportunity for the chartered accountants to go study and carry out the process. The citizen-centric services also include birth and death certificates. The health and hygiene is one of the major role of the ULB. Education, water supply, And for that, the necessary infrastructure is also created by the urban local body. It could be library, it could be city hall, it could be community center, or the bus, or the ambulance, and so many things. I mean, this list can also run into some 10 pages of the work which ULB is supposed to do, or it is already doing it in many parts of the country. So, as I said, that obligatory rules include the electricity to the for the streets, or the water supply, or the education. Public works department infrastructure is to be created, which includes road, slum development, records of birth and deaths, public health and sanitation, and so many other services which are done by the urban local body. Now, why do we need accounting reforms? Although CA Sumitama Ray has already dealt on this subject in a very detailed manner, and he also pointed out that the financial self-sustainability or the financial independence is the target. Now, it becomes very difficult for anybody to, appreciate the situation that when the services are being rendered by ULB, why can't they charge that much money to make themselves self-sustainable? Now, typically, it looks like very easy, but when we go to the depth of it, you would find that financial self-sustainability is that target which can be achieved through accounting reforms only, because of the simple thing that in the cash basis of accounting, neither the revenues are matched nor the expenditure is matched, and in the single entry system, the distinction between revenue and capital expenditure is not at all there. It is only the receipt and the payment, and the receipt or the asset or the liability is not recognized. Typically, in a ULB, you will find a lot of backlog in the accounting and the audit space. Typically, you will also find that there is a lack of internal financial control or the MIS related, the situation. And the budget becomes more like a formality. We all know that urban local body, being the third tier of the government, is also having a political say in preparation and the passing of the budget. And the budget more or less becomes a formality. And the target of financial self-sustainability is not achieved through the traditional mode. The delayed and incomplete statutory compliances only add to this problem area. When I say problem area, then it is also an opportunity area for chartered accountants and others to turn around that problem area into the opportunity area. So when we do the bookkeeping, accrual accounting, we all know when we do it, matching principles are applied. But if it is cash basis, matching principles are not applied. When we do the cash method of accounting, the transactions are recorded only when the money is received and money is paid. Revenues are not recorded until cash is received. Similarly, expenses are not recorded when the cash is disbursed. And the money, if it is not received, and the expenditure would not, if it is not paid, then it would not have any mention of it. Surplus can get reflected. This is a very typical thing in the cash method of accounting. I have received some money at the fag end of the year. I have not spent it. And then that becomes the sort of a surplus. And many a times political mileage is also taken by reflecting that kind of surplus. But that is not the correct and the true and fair view of the situation. So in the single entry system also, we know that, it does not recognize any enduring benefit. So you don't have any asset in the single entry system. Similarly, there is no recording for any obligation. So the statement which is in front of you does not help you in taking any decision, at least the financial decision. So the target of financial self-sustainability, that is not achieved because of these two reasons. One is the entire information system is either based on the cash system of accounting and mostly with the single entry based accounts. As a result, the clear picture is not available for any decision making. Take example, most of the time we have seen that the ULBs have requested the applicable state government or the regulator of the ULB in that particular state for the funds, that we are not having funds to pay the salaries. Like Mr. Ray also gave the example of the Supreme Court judgment of in the case of Mr. Patel, that the money is not available. This is what is the typical, this thing that money is not available. But in the single entry based account, when you are not recording for any transaction, when you are not recording the receivable portion, it becomes very difficult for the state government also to keep on giving the money and not follow up for the recovery of the receivable, which is already over there. We got a very good example in one of the ULB where they had tied up with the electricity department of that particular state, and they came out with a tie-up that if the property tax or the other user fees are not paid by the citizen, then the electricity connection to that particular house would also be disconnected, and that has speeded up the revenue collection of the ULB in a very good manner. These are the innovative ways to recover the dues in a timely manner. Other major shortcomings which we have observed over a period of time is administratively there are multiple shareholders to which the ULB is accountable, which include the state, center, district, of course the common person. Lot of approvals are also required to execute the projects, and sometimes the time taken is so high that by the time the project gets implemented, the benefit of that is not does not get accrued to the level where it was envisaged. There are inter-department challenges, and the slow speed of execution is also one of the area which we had observed. When we talk about HR, we found that in most of the ULBs, the setup was not fully filled. So setup was approved, like say take example for accounting. Now accounting, you will have a setup of say 10 accountants or one accounts officer and 9 accountants and so on. But if it is not filled, then the job is not done just because the setup is not filled. And another typical thing is that the cadre, specific cadre for specific job is also not created in most of the ULBs. So this brings the the entire problem to a different tangent. We have seen that engineers and whether it is diploma holders or the graduate engineers, they are given the task of maintaining the accounts in urban local body. Now, if an engineer is asked to prepare the accounts, we can all understand that what kind of account it would be. And typically, since it is single entry based cash accounts, only the register entry is done. And this is the major reason that when the cadre is not created, this kind of situation arises. The engagement of the personnel in other government work, you will find that most of the time the ULB persons are either busy in census or the election duty. Like presently for last 6-8 months, we are seeing, at least for since March, we are seeing that most of the ULB personnel are deployed into the COVID-related pandemic control situation. Frequent transfers is also observed. Slow assessment, financial related constraints which we observed was slow assessment and the recovery of the taxes. Budgetary controls are almost not there because of the simple reason that budget becomes more like a formality. And most of the time it is the insufficient funds which are at disposal. And dependence on the state, central government support is found in most of the cases. But at the same time, when we talk about accrual-based double accounting system, how it helps is that the financial performance of the entity can be ascertained because the income and expenditure account would be prepared, the balance sheet would be prepared, and the authenticity of the information would also be available. So, in nutshell, when we talk about the conversions into the double entry system based accounts, the journey is very interesting and at the same time it is challenging also. Why I say challenging? Some of the challenges were listed out by my previous speaker, Shri Sumitava Reji. And some of the challenges I am going to discuss over here, and practical approach would also be discussed in the subsequent slides. So when I say that it is a challenging journey and an interesting journey, it gives lot of satisfaction to see that a urban local body which was earlier not having the necessary and stipulated records or the information in a proper manner, which has converged itself into double entry accounting system. The benefit when is seen on the which comes on the table, that gives a lot of satisfaction to the team which is doing their job. And I can say with pride that in many of the ULBs, the direct benefit of double entry accounting system or ABDS was felt once the project was complete, and even prior to completion. The stakeholders, the officers, the authorities, they found it not just a formality to convert their single entry cash accounts into ABDS. So journey becomes challenging because a lot of things are required to be done. One is, let's start with the selection of the manual. So as it has been said in the earlier discussion today, we have National Municipal Accounting Manual and we have the state manual. So if the state has prepared any manual which is already approved by the state, then of course the choice goes towards the state manual, or else of course the National Municipal Accounting Manual is there. As has also been said in the earlier discussion, that this manual was made long back, so it's a high time to see that some of the changes the necessary changes are brought into the same. And earlier speaker also said about it that in principle it has already been given in the report that the changes are required to be done. Next is the selection of the software. Now, when I say selection of the software, as has been told by the previous speaker, that there is no uniform one single software, which is true. In one assignment entrusted to us by World Bank, we were supposed to select a suitable software available for the urban local body space. In that connection, we traveled to some 20 odd different ULBs and came out with our recommendation. Some softwares are there for this space, but we like one particular software which is available free of cost and can be downloaded by any ULB directly. At the same time, this becomes a tricky choice also, because a lot of changes are required to be done when the software is to be selected. Why do we need a software? We need a software so as to see that it becomes sustainable reform. Otherwise, a chartered accountancy firm would be given the assignment, and that chartered accountancy firm will carry out the assignment and convert the account from single entry cash basis to ABDS. But it will not be sustainable unless the use of technology is done. Why I say this? Because I have seen that unless the capacity of the concerned person is built to that level, it does not become sustainable reform. And instead of, while on one hand the capacity of the individual concerned who is working over there need to be increased, at the same time technology tool is also to be given. Take example of the banks. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, any bank person, any clerk, any desk officer getting shifted from one place to another does not find any problem in going to another branch from Kashmir. If he's shifted to Kanyakumari, he goes to the Kanyakumari branch, starts his work, and on a single day he's in a position to start his work without any any formal training or any capacity building. Why? Because the technology has been made to that level that the uniform software is available throughout the country or maybe throughout the world to carry out the necessary transactions with a seamless, in a seamless manner. So sustainability of reforms requires the use of technology, which means the ULB need to select a particular software. And when we talk about the training portion, on one side it is definitely an opportunity also for the chartered accountant. On the other side, it is a must thing for to be carried out, because without training it would not be possible to make the reform sustainable. So when I say it's an interesting and challenging journey, this is having a lot of ingredient of innovativism. At the same time, it is having a lot of issues which are to be tackled at different period of time, and which we will be discussing in the subsequent slides also. One of the major thing which consumes a lot of time, efforts, and resources of the agency which is entrusted with this job of the convergence is to to prepare an opening balance sheet, because somewhere some cutoff date has to be decided, and based on that cutoff date, the compilation of the assets and liabilities are to be done. In my opinion, this is one of the most difficult tasks in convergence into the ABDS. And this requires a different kind of skill set and different kind of hand-holding to do it in a seamless manner. Otherwise, most of the time gets spent on this one particular deliverable. When I say opening balance sheet, this also means a fixed asset register. And fixed asset register means listing of the fixed asset, and it also means the valuation or the cost asset treatment of the fixed asset register. And the opening balance sheet and the fixed asset register, once it is ready, it gives a particular platform to carry out the transactions and carry out the conversions of the transactions of the subsequent period into ABDS in a seamless manner. The chart of accounts also is very important. Although once we have selected either National Municipal Accounting Manual or the State Manual, as the case may be, the chart of account need to be taken from that. But at the same time, the coding structure requires a lot of deliberation, because the information which is needed from the by the various stakeholder from the ULB, sometimes that is based on the function related information. Like somebody may be asking how much money you are spending on the sanitation. So if I am giving salary to persons who are employed over there and doing the sanitation job, that should get added, and the total figure of sanitation should include not only the consumables, not only the other things, but also the salary portion of that. So therefore, it is important that the chart of accounts should be made in such a manner that not only the functions are also clearly mentioned over there in coded structure, the department which are executing the job should be also mentioned over there, and the source of fund. Now this is also important area. ULBs, they do get the grant. They do get the funds under different schemes of the state and central government. So like take example of Swachh Bharat Mission, which is an ambitious project of the central government, rolled out through the states and being executed by the ULBs. Gets the funding support from state the central. And take example of another scheme, maybe say Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Here also ambitious scheme, and out of the 4 verticals of the scheme, at least 2 are directly in connection with the ULBs. And when the chart of account is made, it should accommodate that if at any point of time any information is required to be taken out, it should be easily available. That on Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, maybe under beneficiary-led construction vertical, how much money has been spent, how much is the resources which have been deployed over there, and so on. So that is the importance of the chart of account, and this is where the challenge also lies, because a lot of meetings with the stakeholder are required to be done. Now, when I say conversion of single entry based accounts into double entry, and when I say cash basis to accrual based, these two, why I have listed out separately, because most of the time it is very difficult to make people understand. People at the helm of affair, even in the ULB, maybe commissioner level person or maybe CMO level person, it is very difficult for the chartered accountant firm to first of all inform and educate the person as to what is single entry and what is double entry. In fact, once I was asked by a senior IAS officer after the presentation that why we have to enter the things twice. And double entry was perceived as that you are writing anything in 2 times rather than writing it single times. Now, this being the status, it requires a lot of hand-holding, lot of persuasion, lot of persistence and interaction with the ULB personnel to make them understand what is single entry, what is double entry, what is cash based, what is accrual based, why it is needed, what are the benefits, and the tangible benefits. If one can show to the ULB, then it becomes easy for them to understand and appreciate the process. There is also a need to develop the tools to get the desired MIS, the Management Information System. Finally, once the ABDS is happening, it should result into something. What it can result? It can result into information which would help taking decisions, and taking decisions in a manner where the financial self-sustainability is going to be achieved. That is what is the motto, that is what is the overall target in the ABDS, that it should bring a platform, and where that platform should enable stakeholders and the decision makers to start getting data and information in a manner that it can help them in introducing maybe the cost control, or maybe revenue optimization, or maybe the resources augmentation. These are the things which are expected out of the ABDIS. I give you one example. In one ULB which we were doing in Maharashtra, while listing out the assets for the preparation of the balance sheet, opening balance sheet, a lot of surplus vacant land was also gathered. The information about that was gathered, and during the interaction with and that was listed out, and the opening balance sheet was made and it was approved. And then the commissioner concerned, senior IS officer, asked me what exactly we have achieved. We said that these are the lands available to you, and these are vacant land, and the team has also gone and visited and seen that these can in the future eventuality, these may be encroached in future. So kindly safeguard your interest. And also the city is having a major problem of the parking. So some of these can be converted into smart parking lots. Finally, it was done. The same land which was not giving anything has given that city the benefit of ease of traffic. It has, and without any cost to the ULB, for the reason that the entire thing was done under the PPP mode. The private player came in, the show is on, it is giving service to the citizen. And how this entire thing was achieved? It was achieved through the EBDS. The process of convergence is interesting because it directly brings you can see the benefit which are coming out of the process, and you can feel it. And of course, it is challenging for the reason which we discuss hereinafter. The one thing I can say with certainty, or with the experience of 200 ULBs, that hand-holding is the key for the successful implementation of the accounting reforms. Unless, as my previous speaker has also said, unless we change our approach from a typical auditor approach to a consultant approach, unless we do that, and unless we do the hand-holding with the stakeholders, it is not possible to achieve the results which are of this particular assignment. It's a different assignment. It is altogether a different way to do it. And the key is that we should be doing the hand-holding. And when I say hand-holding, it also means that we should be very clear as to how to achieve the final result. And that final result would also mean that at any point of time, we may have to sit along with the concerned person or near his desk by taking a separate chair, sitting with him and telling him this is to be done in this particular manner. Time and again, the classroom training is required, the on-site training is required, the education is required to be imparted, the benefits are to be told, and all this can be achieved when we do the hand-holding properly. And this is where the key lies. Now, as I said, that the opening balance sheet is one of the major area of this assignment. In fact, when we talk about the hand-holding, the hand-holding is not just only for the training portion, it is also for the preparation of maybe the accounting policy, because the accounting policies are going to be made for the first time when it is getting converged into ABDIS. And similarly, the notes and account. We all know, in the notes and account, a lot of things may be required to be disclosed for the simple reason that it is not possible to get everything to the level where it is, required. Maybe in the first balance sheet it may not be so. So somewhere disclosure has to come in, or the notes on account should also adequately inform about the contingent liabilities, about other things which are there. So handholding is required, that we should be sitting with them, talking to them, getting the information, analysis of that information, and coming out with an approach where the conversion or the convergence becomes easy. in the entire thing. So as I said in the chart of account also, a lot of handholding support is required in this thing. And my previous speaker has already highlighted the role of the institution setup, understanding of the institution setup so as to carry out the assignment to the satisfaction of all. So when we say opening balance sheet, the opening balance sheet is the statement where we list out the all assets and all liabilities. Of course, the balancing figure is the municipal fund because for that there is no separate exercise reasonably possible. When I say fixed asset, the fixed asset could be immovable or it could be movable. When we talk about immovable, I can list out at least 200 different items which may be coming under the movable or immovable fixed assets, which are normally seen in the ULBs. Some of which could be the land or the building or the hospital or the maybe the school, roads, street lights, or maybe the library or maybe the museum, or maybe if we talk about movable fixed assets, it could be the plant and machinery, the sanitation trucks or tools, or the segregation centers which have been set up for segregation of the garbage into recyclable things. So there could be maybe burial ground, maybe there could be different items under the fixed assets which are owned by the ULB. Typically, these are owned over a period of time, and when these are owned over a period of time, the records in respect of these may not be so easily available. Although typically they are supposed to keep the dead stock register or maybe the tools and plant register or maybe the other registers, but updation of that and coming out with the latest information in respect of those assets becomes very, very difficult. One area from where the information can be taken, I can give you one example, and I can name this ULB also because of its historical importance. Haridwar Nagar Nigam was assigned to us in one particular assignment, and the typical part was when we went over there, our job was basically to update the double entry accounting for a particular period of time. But when we went over there, we found that the records, we were told that all records got destroyed in a fire. So they don't have no hard copy, no soft copy, nothing. Typically, the interactions were done with the ministry, and finally it was resolved that it has to be done as a de novo, and it is to be done afresh. You would be surprised to know that the records in respect of those fixed assets which are being used for a very long time, like say Har Ki Podi or the clock tower over there, or maybe the old market over there, all typically owned by the urban local body of Haridwar, but the records were simply not available. And those records, when they are not available, how that is to be taken care of, we'll discuss that in subsequent slide also. But this becomes a typical area to understand how to list out the fixed assets, how to take out the inventory of that, how to come out with the current assets, particularly the cash and bank balances. Typically, if we talk about the cash and bank balances, you will find that in the bank balances which are appearing in the cash book, which is a consolidated figure for maybe 20 accounts or maybe 200 accounts, one consolidated figure would be carried out in one particular cash book column, manually maintained, and from there one has to take out the information and start the opening balance sheet. There comes the issue of bank reconciliation statement, which also we'll be discussing in the subsequent slides. But here I would like to give one example of bank balance in another ULB, which we found was we were provided with the information that these are the bank accounts, and that was coming out from one audited statement, and of course under the audited receipt and payment account. And then we were supposed to carry out the opening balance sheet exercise. So one thing which we did was we wrote to all the banks on behalf of the ULB where the accounts were there to start giving us the information in respect of the bank accounts which they are having along with the statement of account. When we started getting the information, we found that the two FDRs of a sizable amount of around 75 crore rupees was missed out in the receipt and payment account, which was being prepared for last 3-4 years. And those that 75 crore rupees FDR was simply lying over there because one accountant, when he got retired, he had put those physical FDRs in the some file, and that file was having the physical FDRs, but the information could not be carried over in the subsequent period for some lapse on their part. So during the course of preparation of this opening balance sheet, when we found out this 75 crore rupees FDR approximately, then there was a lot of a discussion as to how it was left out and so on. And the tangible benefit which came to the ULB was that this additional amount was made available to them. In the receivable portion, the challenge comes in coming out with the old demand. Typically, the registers which would be available for maintained in the manual way would have some information about the current demand or maybe demand for last 1 or 2 or 3 years. And because typically ledgers are not maintained for the citizens who have paid their dues or who have not paid, and there comes a real challenge in compilation of this information. Another point which comes in that typically we found it in many of the ULBs that citizens paying property tax through check were given the receipt subject to encashment of those particular checks, and that money was also entered in the respective register. But subsequently the check got bounced, but this bounce entry or the bouncing of the check was not reflected anywhere in the records. So as a result, the records are showing that the X amount is receivable from the citizen, whereas typically it is the Y amount which is receivable from the citizen. These are the various challenges which come in when we actually do this assignment. When we talk about current assets, we come to inventory. Typically, many departments of the ULB would be purchasing a lot of items. Like maybe the health department would be buying a lot of medicines, or maybe the DDT powder for spray and control of malaria. The sanitation department would be buying a lot of material in terms of the globes or maybe the other tools to take out the garbage and the dustbins and so on. Ultimately, as at the end of the financial year or at the start of the financial year, when we are talking about opening balance sheet, we need to take out a list of the inventory. The challenge which we saw in many ULBs were that the information in respect of inventory was not that readily available, because typically it was never used to have any element of control with them for preparation of that. Advances to various suppliers, because under single entry system there is no need for there is no mechanism for preparation of any ledger. So advance, if it is given to ABCD, then that is not readily available with the ULB. So those information are to be taken. Similarly for employees, similarly for festival advance, similarly for traveling, and similarly for other current assets. So when we see the common practical issues in respect of assets, we find that a lot of time gets spent in the identification of the fixed assets, maybe road, maybe sewage, maybe the tanks, maybe park, maybe monuments, building or survey. Now, how to take care of that? So the mechanism which we had adopted, and we found that that is something which can be taken up as a approach, as a mitigation, is to first of all draw the formats and distribute those formats to the ULB after understanding the working of the ULB and the hierarchy level. If we divide, like suppose in the ULB there are 10 different departments. Now the health department, whatever it is doing, or the fire department, whatever it is doing, has nothing to do with other departments. So they would be having their separate independent control over the activities which they are doing. So what should be done is to come out with the format where we talk about different, and that those are to be given to different departments in the ULB, and those departments should fill those format in respect of the information which is available with them. So suppose I talk about maybe the education department. in the education department, if there are say 10 schools, what kind of fixed assets are over there? Maybe the fans, or maybe the ACs, or maybe the table, or maybe the blackboard, or so on. So those are the formats which have to be filled up. Now, when they fill up, definitely there comes a question of the valuation or the cost estimation. Like we were to do a cost estimation for the clock tower which is there in Haridwar at the Har Ki Pauri. Now it is very difficult to come out with any cost structure unless you know when it was actually constructed. The manual is available which says that you can go back to the cost of construction taking the year in which it was constructed and come out after putting the depreciation on that, come out with a figure for your opening balance sheet. It becomes very difficult to get that information. So what we did was, normally in the ULB, if any building or any monument or anything is constructed, normally there would be an inauguration for that purpose, and inauguration would also have one particular signboard over there, or maybe the stone over there, where who did the inauguration on which particular date would be mentioned. So we captured that information, put it on the record, did the cost estimation with reference to those date of inauguration, and coming out with the depreciation based on the depreciation and the useful life structure which is given in the manual, and came out with the figure this thing. Now typically the exercise is to come out with alternative mechanism of compilation of the information. Like take example of this sources of funds. It is very difficult to ask any ULB where from you had bought this land and where from you got this asset 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line. Or where from the money came in to construct this park, or maybe this road, or maybe this nali, or maybe this tank. It becomes difficult to identify. Many of the times we have also observed that assets are also gifted, maybe by individuals or maybe by corporates, or maybe by one government agency to another government agency. And many a times there is a transition from rural local body to urban local body, and therefore the assets gets transferred to the urban local bodies. Coming out with the source of fund is a challenge, and key to get that solution to that is proper interaction with the stakeholders, coming out with the alternative record, coming out with the mechanism to identify and linking it up with the final objective. Assets, whenever they are constructed, normally it is assigned, some agencies assigned to construct that, and the tendering process is done and the agreement and the contract is done. So most of the time the difficulty on which date the asset was put to use would come, because typically the final bill of the contractor would be settled only after the defect liability period. So typically, suppose today there is an inauguration of one, say, Dharamshala. The person who has constructed the Dharamshala would be raising the final bill only after the typical defect liability period is over under the contract, which is typically one rainy season or maybe two rainy season. That means the final bill would not be available to me as an accountant as of today. Whether this is an asset which should be capitalized or this is an asset which is not to be capitalized is a question. Now here, if it is already inaugurated, it is already getting used, the date of put to use, as I said, we took the reference from the inauguration date or the completion date. The final settlement of bill based on the contract and based on this thing, the liabilities are to be booked under the accrual method of accounting, so as to see that the funds which are available under that particular grant or maybe municipal funds, there is a proper control over there, and those funds should not get spent in the meantime, and by the time the final bill comes in, then it may not be the situation that the funds are not available. Now, authentication of the information is also a very typical exercise or typical challenge, because whatever is being told, it should be authenticated by the ULB persons, and that is where the challenge lies, because nobody wants to take the responsibility of putting in their signature, and a lot of persuasion and a lot of hand-holding is required in terms of getting that authentication on the table. On the liability side, we on the opening balance sheet, liability side, the loan from the government. Normally, the state government gives money in the form of grant, and sometimes it is also given in the form of loan, recoverable over a period of time. So, based on the information, this item need to be identified. Similarly, many ULBs have also taken the loan from the banks, maybe under their discounting of their future receivables, or maybe under the normal any construction loan. The financial institutions, typically like HUDCO and NABARD, have also been giving the loans to the ULB, and multilateral institutions, maybe the World Bank, maybe the the ADB and all the like, have also been giving the the loan to the ULBs. The term liabilities typically could be gratuity or the pension. The grant fund could be in the area of reserve, or could be earmarked, or could be a capital reserve, or it could be a general reserve, a general grant fund, or maybe a revenue fund. Municipal funds, the unspent amount of the grant means the amount which is presently not spent, and therefore it is being treated as liability. Just now I was saying that why it is important to do this, because most of the time we have seen that bank balance in the account is the only criteria which is seen for coming out with the tendering process. Suppose in a bank account, maybe infrastructure grant, there is a balance of say 10 crore rupees. So typically today the mayor or the commissioner would decide that okay, let us put a tender for construction of XYZ building, which is part of the budget, and utilize this fund for the creation of the necessary infrastructure, without recognizing that this 10 crore is not freely available, because in respect of the assets which have been created in the past, there is an unpaid liability of maybe say 5 crore rupees. The mismatch comes only because of the liabilities are not ascertained at the time when the bank balance is seen. Similarly, we'll have the current liabilities, which include the payables in respect of the various services or the material, or the provisions in respect of tax or other statutory provisions, and the other current liabilities. So when I say the determination of amount to become payable becomes a challenge, it also means that the relevant information is to be taken out. Why? Because in the typically cash method of accounting, we will have a cash book. On left side would be received, on the right side would be the the payment. Typically it would be maintained in a manual manner, and there would not be any amount payable sort of information captured anywhere. Unless it is paid, it is not recognized. So one has to take out the information, again listing out, again making out the formats, giving to the concerned department, concerned persons, coming out with the information, and coming out with the compilation of the information which has been so taken. And therefore this approval on the compilation also becomes very necessary. Many a times we have also seen that the unutilized grant does not match with the bank balance oblique FDR for the one reason I have just said. Another reason is interest on grant. And typically in the bank, the money lying would get the interest accrued over there, whereas the amount which is to be reflected in the grant portion, if the interest portion is not recorded over there would be a mismatch on the same. Typically, when we say the practical issues, one major practical issue is the non-cooperation from the ULB staff. Now, this is something which is, one would find everywhere. Typically, the head of the ULB would be very much interested in getting this accounting reform done for a variety of reasons, or maybe the major reason is that perhaps at his level or her level, it becomes easy for them to understand the benefit out of it. But it may not be so with the down the line, and down the line it becomes more like a problem area. And so, frankly speaking, nobody wants this thing to be actually done down the line. So, what is the mitigation? We need to regularly follow up with the staff. We need to regularly follow up with the ULB officials and use the technology. When I say use the technology, make the close group on the maybe WhatsApp or maybe the mail group, and come out with a mechanism where the information desired information is asked in writing, and it is also escalated to the level of the head of the ULB, who would be more interested in getting this particular thing done. Next comes the non-availability of the data and the information. It would be very clearly mentioned that we don't have it. I mean, they will tell you so simply that we don't have the relevant information. As I said, typically for fixed assets, inauguration stone, or the confirmation directly from the bank. Like suppose somebody is saying, I don't have the bank balance or the bank statement with me. Okay, take the authority, write it to the bank, and get the information directly from the bank and compile it. Similarly, for the purchases which are done at the fag end of the year, and typically that is done to exhaust the budget, those could be seen with reference to the information which is coming for the inventory, whether those have been listed out in the inventory or not. One typical information area is the grant utilization certificate. Everywhere, the grant utilization would be certificate would be asked by the various state government or the donor agencies, and that is one area of information which is available with us. Take the information from the grant utilization certificate, you would come to know how much money was spent, when it was spent, and what asset was created or what services were taken. Another situation may come in where the ULB may say that the records have been destroyed. Like I gave example of Haridwar. Now, whatever accounting is possible with the available record or recreation of that is the mitigation. Then you would find a lot of contradictory information or the multiple set of records. In one particular ULB, again in Maharashtra, when we were assigned the work by the World Bank, we found that there are three different set of accounts being maintained. One was by the CFO in the manual handmade manually done. Another one was by a team which was engaged for carrying out work on the tally system of accounting, double entry of course. And third was a dedicated software was purchased by the ULB, and that was under deployment. So there were three different set of accounting records available, and all three were not matching. Now the problem was which one we should take as the basis for coming out with this thing. Similar situation may come out with others also. So suggestion is that consensus on the use of any particular set of information has to be done first, get it recorded, and then proceed further. In one particular case, in fact two, we found that in one case EOW, and in the other case the court had seized the material following a particular complaint against the CMO, and those records were not available. So the mitigation is demand the photocopy of the seized material and move forward. Most of the time you will find that the personnel are not available. We find that at the start itself, get a nodal officer designated for the periodical meet and do the periodical meetings with the higher officials. Documentation of the proceedings need to be done in a very elaborate manner. Every single meeting which you are doing, please make a minute of that, circulate it to all concerned to keep a track of the the information about a particular decision which is taken. Different ways of record keeping in the different departments, you will find that consensus need to be brought in, and that is the mitigation for that. When the bank balances are not available in the manual, bank-wise balances are not available in the manual cash book, the only thing is that go to the check issue register, go to the reconciliation statement, and come out with the individual, the bank figures. The clerical mistakes would be found in the manually maintained account. Take example, 1 lakh is reflected as 10 lakh rupees, and the resulting balance is being carried over for say 3 years. And today you are being appointed as the agency for carrying out the ABDS. Now what to do with that? Because cash balance and your balance would not match. Cash balance means the bank balance appearing in the cash book would not match with the bank balance which is coming out in say the balance sheet which is being prepared by you. The best way out is, come out with the identification of that, segregate it, get it approved, and move forward. Cash books, the proper narration is not available. Just it is mentioned by check number so and so. You are not aware what for this payment has been made, whether it was for asset or the service. So the only way is to go to the voucher control and study and interact with the ULB personnel. Yes, it is very true what CA Sumitaba Ray has said, that CA normally behave like an auditor, and they are also perceived as an auditor. and that is where this entire thing goes to a different direction. If the ULB is considering you as an auditor, then they will not open up. There will not be much success in your deliberation. So please tell them on day one, you are not auditor, you are accountant, and that is where the practical issue will get resolved. The details of deductions would typically not be available in the cash book which is maintained manually. This is where the tedious return can come into one rescue, and the royalty deduction sheet or the last running bill can be of help to you. Tax collections would not, if they are not matching with the receivable, details. One has to go to the current demand and closing statement, do the cross check, and control the account adjustment. Similarly, if the list of outstanding bills are not available, go to the next cash book or the subsequent period cash book, see what payments have been made, see what is the reason for that payment. Is it belonging to the earlier period, and do the listing of the liability based on that. Fixed asset, typically you would find that it is not updated for the year. As I said, opening FAR should get met with the opening balance sheet, and the updation of the subsequent FAR should be done simultaneously with the convergence. Where you will find that today you are talking to somebody, for the last 1 month you are talking to another person, and then that person is getting transferred today. The one who is coming now would not be, it will take time, and he may not be that conversant, and whatever discussions you have done with the earlier one may go waste. So one idea is documentize the meetings and the minutes. Another is come out with the concept of the link officer in the ULB when you are starting the working. Ask the ULB people to define the link officer of the person with whom you are interacting. And I would suggest even CA firm should also have the link officer for their own team members, because many a times that your own team member may also go out from maybe your firm, or may get sick, or maybe any other reason. So one link officer, of course, it adds to the cost, but it otherwise becomes smoothness, brings the smoothness into the transaction. As I said, contractors' bills, if they are not finalized, how to capitalize this portion I have already dealt. The non-availability of the information about the assets which are transferred without any financial transaction. Like state government has transferred land to the ULB. Dig out for all the transfer letters, you will find that state government typically there would be a file, and that file will contain the transfer orders. Based on that, the entries are to be taken out. Similarly, sources of fund, if they are not available, as I said, grant funds, the grant utilization certificate would be available, or the MRL has to be taken from the entity to complete the process. Assets could also be under PPP, public-private partnership. Maybe the self-help group may be operating the SLRM center or the smart parking on the ULB line. The contribution from the ULB only need to be recognized in such cases, and for that the information is to be taken. The bank typically would consume a lot of your time, because that is where the information may not be readily available. So come out with, and typically there may be areas in the reconciliation. So my suggestion is, once you have a cutoff date, then on the cutoff date, if there is any difference appearing, please park it into the other account and tell them to reconcile it. Otherwise, you will spend a lot of your time in reconciling that, and you may not be successful easily. Or alternatively, get them agree to take the actual bank balance of that particular date and move forward. Similarly, where the entries are outstanding for more than 3 months, the reversals need to be done based on the identification. There would be a situation that amounts directly getting credited to the bank account without knowledge to the ULB. Please raise your ticket to the concerned bank, ask them to share the voucher, the source of that information, so that the rectification or the entries can be done. Similarly, the bank accounts many a times there would be a change in the numbers. So maybe because of the transition of that particular bank from manual to computerized, you will find that many a times the bank account numbers gets changed, and many a times in the carryover portion, if one bank account is missed out, like I just said about the Haridwar, about another ULB, where the significant FDRs were also missed out, that kind of situation may arise. So interaction with the bank would be a better and safe bet. Bank statement not available. Again, meet with the ULB official and bring the bank also into it. Most of the bank find this kind of business of ULB quite attractive because it has a lot of deposits lying up over there. So once they are brought for the meeting along with the ULB personnel, they can be told not to. To give the relevant information to the ULB so that the work is completed. Now, transition to the new technology is one stage, and as I said, that without technology, transition, the reform is not going to be sustainable. So, what is the major issue which comes in is the non-awareness of the software or the hardware. Here, I would say that we have to again take the example of a bank where we go to the bank, we take the ATM card, we take the money from the ATM, and the transaction is done in the back end directly. It gets recorded into the accounts immediately, and therefore the software or the technology should be one where the ULB personnel, the capacity of the ULB personnel should be thought to be the minimum, and most of the things should be taken care of by the software. Like in one particular ULB, we saw that most of the persons who are doing that job, and that is a quite significant and sizable ULB with some 20,000 odd employees over there. Everything is done by the software, including preparation of bill, including writing of the check, or even check is also not written. The RTGS payments are done, and everything, and it becomes not difficult for the person because when a clerk is opening the computer, he is getting one or two screens only to be filled in and to be seen. His access is limited only to those 2 or 3 screens, and therefore he has to click yes, no, and in the end, in the back end, the transaction is getting recorded automatically. In the revenue expenses, the timing of the accrual becomes an issue, and the work order need to be seen, agreement need to be seen, and when the material was received or maybe the services were received need to be seen. The other revenue income, again, you will find a lot of mismatch in the availability of records. Maybe the advertisement rights or maybe the lease rental, you will not find the records so readily available. Many a times we have seen that the lease rentals are not collected from the shops or maybe the portions which are let out for years together, and the lease rentals are not revised for also years together. Why? Because typically the system is not there. Please help them in getting a system installed for the same so that this accounting reform becomes sustainable over a period of time. And now comes the most difficult task. The approval in respect of your own deliverables under the assignment and getting the fees for the work done. Why I say this is most difficult task? Because most of the time you will find by the time your job is done, a lot of changes in the personnel of the ULB would happen. And unless there is a complete documentation available, because people in the ULB would hesitate in giving any approval of a period in which that person was not available. So my humble suggestion here is, please take periodical approval. Everything you are doing, get the approval, get the documentation done, have patience and persistence. This is all from my side. This is the time which I was allotted, and it's 12:40. If there are any questions, with the permission of the chair, we may take it. Thank you very much.
Sir, we received some questions. Hello, sir, I'm audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Tell me.
Some questions received. How to get assignment in government sector?
How to get assignment?
Yeah.
Like my previous speaker has said that, in the government sector, most of the assignments would be through the tendering process. Now, tendering process, normally, typically, we chartered accountants don't do it in a, day-to-day our working. Why? Because we mostly deal in the private sector, and therefore we are not much acquainted with the tendering processes. As my previous speaker has also said that we should get ourselves acquainted with the tendering process. I would suggest World Bank has got a very good tender process which is available on their websites also. One is acquainting, and most of the ULBs are coming out with the tenders, participate in them, and try your chance. What one thing which my previous speaker has also said, please nobody should quote low figure just to get the work, because that does not work. That does not work. Yeah.
All municipal assets for which we have no cost information available with municipal records, they means circumstances whether can be calculated cost by making current estimate and then adjusting according to CII with the relevant years.
Your voice was not that clear. Can you repeat it, please?
All municipal assets for which we have no cost information available with municipal records.
Right.
Such
Got it.
circumstances
Got-
whether
got-
can be calculated cost by making current estimates and then
Yes.
adjusting according to CII with the relevant years.
Yes, it can be done, and this is what is the prescribed thing, because if the cost is not available, let us take the construction cost applicable under the state SOR of that particular year. First of all, I have to find out which year it was constructed, and every year the state would have a SOR, schedule of rates, and based on the bill of quantity which is available, I can calculate the amount of the construction perceived construction cost, and then based on the depreciation which is rate is available, I can bring it to the WDV of the period for which I am preparing the opening balance sheet.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, Vice President sir has joined, so I welcome CNR Jambusari ji on behalf of committee and on behalf of Pune branch and all the participants. Welcome, sir.
A very good afternoon and welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think, Mr. Secretary, we would request Vice President to talk first, because he would be occupied otherwise, and thereafter we can resume with this question and answer, if you permit.
First of all, my apology for intervening in between, but the timing was such and I was traveling, so I could not make it. So, my colleague in the council, respected Chitleji, Chairman of Pune branch, C. Abhishek Damne, C. Kasinath, Batraji, Reji, and all participants. I'm sure that this program would have fetched lot of value add, and particularly when we talk of public finance and government finance, all our efforts are concentrated in bringing government accounts on accrual basis. We did it in railway, we did it in Delhi Municipal Corporation, Mumbai Municipal Corporation, and today's webinar, I think, would have given fantastic ideas to the members as to what is the scope of work in government bodies. When we talk of local bodies, I think they are at tier 3 in the entire government structure. The manner in which in institute we have council, regional council, branch at third level, probably local bodies are at third level. And from here itself, when transparency starts and when accounts are maintained on accrual basis, yesterday we were in railways because they want to carry forward further project after resorting to accrual accounting. They want to have another project and they were expressing their satisfaction that now where are their assets, what are the receivables, what are the payables, everything is transparently known to the management, and they don't have to work without having information, take decisions without having proper information. I think all these efforts will lead to that stage where the country will be benefited, they will be benefited, and in turn for the profession there is lot of opportunity. I was listening to Batraji when he said that when you are dealing with local bodies, you require a lot of patience, documentation may be poor, and perseverance is the only way in which we can carry out such assignments. And tendering is the way to get assignment. So members have got good inputs which they wanted, and I compliment the Committee for Public and Government Finance and Pune branch, and particularly Chitaleji for taking this initiative at this stage when government accounting and government public finance are so relevant. We are advising government on various economic measures. If accounts are not properly maintained, if they are not on accrual basis, all these suggestions and advices will not really work. So let us work towards nation building, and let us demonstrate we are two partners. I don't say do everything pro bono, but let us earn also and at the same time contribute to the advancement of economy, transparency, and maintenance of complete record for very perfect decision making in future. Thank you so much for inviting me and for allowing me to share my views. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice President, sir. It was indeed very heartening to note that Indian Railways are expanding their scope. In fact, some of the participants were asking, okay, what is the procedure in which we come to know of these openings in local bodies, etc. So maybe if you consider appropriate, we can think that maybe institute's head office can capture all such tenders, advertisements, etc. And if they post them on institute's website, maybe members will come to know at one place what are all opportunities being thrown open. This is for your consideration, please.
Yeah, definitely. We can do this because then across the border, the membership will be aware of the opportunities which are available, and they will be able to fill the tenders and apply. So we can do this. It will lead to more transparency even in allotment of work also. Let us do it.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Our committee also will try to spearhead this initiative under your guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over to you, Chairman, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, VP sir, for your time. We appreciate your commitment and the time given to this session. Despite your traveling, you could attend that, and that is the beauty of this virtual platform also. So, on behalf of Committee for Public Finance and Accounts and Pune branch, we heartily thank you. We will have a few more questions now, dear members. Batraji is also there. Ray sir is also here, so we can have few round of questions, question answer, and we also hope to have blessings from our honorable president that he might also join. I've just called the secretariat office for that. So if he joins before 1 o'clock, then we'll be really happy. So with that hope, we'll have few more questions now. Kashinath.
Hello, people, sir. The asset gifted to the municipal organization in this case, how to do the valuation for the same? Sir, please
The manual says, the manual says that in such cases the nominal value of ₹1 is to be taken where the cost actually has not been incurred, and where it becomes difficult to ascertain there also, because asset is there, so it has to be mentioned somewhere, and the nominal value at ₹1 is can be taken.
There may be difference in time of inauguration and actual construction completion of any fixed asset. Then in such case, diverse situation, how could the evaluate the actual cost of the such asset?
Yeah, like I said, in the fixed asset, when it is under construction, the document which is normally available to the CA firm for, coming out with the cost of that is the contractor's bill or maybe the agreement with the contractor. What happens is that, the final bill you will find typically would not get settled for a period of next 2 years when the asset is already been put to use. So the best way is that based on the contractual liability, the asset should get recognized at the time of put to use, and over a period of time, if the final bill comes in and there is a change, maybe on the lesser side or maybe on the higher side, then the difference entry has to be passed during that particular period.
Third question is, most of the time, sole proprietors is not able to meet eligibility criteria of tender. So how we overcome this?
Yeah, this is actually the reality that most of the bids you will find that they want multi partner firm, and that is because this kind of assignment requires an approach where you need different teams to be working together. As my previous speaker has also said, the best way out to carry out this kind of assignment is to have a separate team in the office, and the separate team would also mean the separate in charge. Unless it is a partnership firm, it becomes, or maybe LLP, it becomes difficult to have that kind of setup in a proprietorship. And that is, yes, it is pity, but at the same time, this is one of the requirements for this kind of assignment. So one has to maybe move ahead and convert itself into partnership. That could be one solution.
Sir, one question is, what are opportunities for CA in government and local bodies?
Mr. Ray, would you like to take this up? Because
Mr. Kashinath, can you just again a little repeat the question? I did not get it. Not clear, very clear.
What are
Hello?
opportunities for CA in government and local bodies?
What's the opportunity?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, actually, as you have seen my presentation, it may have painted a very rosy picture that there are opportunities. One need to look into it, and one need to take the plunge also. Now, if somebody thinks that, okay, my audit and accounting profession is, okay, fine, I will do that, I will not take a plunge. But before taking a plunge, as Mr. Batra had rightly pointed out, there are a lot of mindset changes also, reforms has to be done within the CA firm also. You have to create a structure within yourself where you can take the plunge and then keep on applying to the tender process. Now, in maybe the first 5 tenders, you may lose out, but in the 6th tender, you may win. So you have to take the plunge, because if the institute allows these tenders information to be available on the website, as Vice President Sir had already mentioned, now then the information becomes easier. One has to take the plunge. You have to keep on applying. That's the main thing. Maybe, see, in any tendering process, all firms do not get on the first go. One need to wait. One should not lose hope also, because things will open up. Things are opening up. As Vice President Sir has said that the railway is going to come up with more openings, so things will happen. Maybe initially there can be a networking of partner firms so that you start gaining the knowledge. Then you can go solo. So there are a lot of, lot of ways you can do this, but one has to understand the need for that. Otherwise, things won't move. So reforms is required in the firms and the mindset of the CA firms also. We cannot only talk about the government reforms. Thank you.
Yeah, in Corona pandemic, we say that days will change. Like CA firms also should write on the wall.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sir, I think President Sir has joined.
Yes, sir. President Sir.
Yes, Namaskar.
Namaste, sir.
Namaskar.
Welcome you.
Namaskar.
Sir, we welcome you to this program.
Thank you.
Organized by Committee for Public and Finance Accounts and on behalf and jointly with Pune branch of WRC. And first of all, we wish you a very happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Chitra sir, please unmute yourself.
Can you share the PPT? Yeah.
Sir, this is a small video prepared by Pune branch, sir.
Thank you, Ji. Thanks a lot.
Yes, yes sir. Chitra sir.
Yes, sir. We welcome Honorable President C.A. Atul Kumar Gupta. no other apt speaker would be there to really enlighten us on this topic, because the audience must be aware, or if not, let me make them aware, that the institute has done very prestigious project of converting accounts into double entry system, asset, liability, etc. of Indian Railways, the mammoth organization, not only in India but in the world. And for this particular work, we have received accolades from international organizations. And this project was single-handedly spearheaded and accomplished by our worthy president, CA Atul Kumar Gupta. So, sir, over to you for your words of advice.
Thank you very much, Chitle sir, the honorable council member and my elder brother in the council. The honorable distinguished speaker, Deepak Batra ji, Sumita Ray ji, the honorable chairman of the Pune branch, Abhishek Damne, and all the management committee member. I can not see, but the honorable vice president may be in absentia, and all the other colleagues. At the outset, I convey my best wishes to and congratulations to the Pune branch and the committee for organizing this very important virtual meeting on the professional opportunity for chartered accountants in local bodies. Friends, as far as the local bodies are concerned, I can just share with you that though there is a mandate which is available in the Finance Commission under Article 280 of the Constitution, that certain performance grant will be available to the local bodies subject to they adopt the accrual accounting. But and even we have the manual available, the municipal accounting manual is available. Still, there is a long way that we have to achieve all the implementation of the accrual accounting in the local bodies. Yes, there is a progress being achieved in some of the municipal corporation, but the problem is that that when we talk about the sustainability of the adoption, then the key lies there, because at times you will find that there are the tenders and the expression of interest are there when the local bodies are looking for the accrual accounting and the professional opportunities is coming up. But when we also see that after successfully implementing the accrual accounting in one or the other municipal corporation or the local bodies, later on the sustainability is issue, and maybe after 5 years down the line you will find that because the reform was being headed by one key person rather than the system, so that is not being adopted by the system. There was a guy who was taking the initiative. The moment he moved out from that particular role, again you will find that the sustainability of the adoption will not be there. So one thing which is very, very important, that in case we have to see, because the chartered accountants are being known as partner in nation building, so it is not a matter of professional opportunity, it is a matter of a professional duty that we have to see that the local bodies are getting more and more into the accrual system, and they are adopting the best of the practices. Now here the very, very important point which we need to understand, that even as a today's program or some any activity which we are doing in our routine life, there is always some kind of a motivation which is required. So somebody is working for the social respect, somebody is working for the money, somebody is working for the recognition, or somebody is working with the motto of a service. So what I'm trying to convey you, that when we are looking that there should be more and more opportunities for the chartered accountant in the local bodies, or it is a matter of a duty for all of us, we have to see that what is the motivation behind. So when we are looking for only a performance grant to be received by the local bodies, at the one or the other times they are already getting that performance grant whether they are adopting or not. So we need to showcase, we need to guide and disseminate that what will be the benefit of adoption of this accrual accounting and the better financial management in the local bodies. So what I will request the committee and all the respected co-opted members and the even the speakers as well, that we need to prepare a very good document to showcase that, okay, this will be the benefit to the local bodies. So maybe some kind of a case study we can prepare that, okay, this was a municipal corporation
And before adoption of the best of the practices, accrual accounting, the better financial management, the position was like this. That was they were running in the losses. They were having the cash crunch and something like that. But after the adoption, now this is the situation. So that kind of a study will actually ignite their thought process, will inculcate that kind of a thought process that they have to also adopt. Now you given the example, the Honorable Chitleji given the example of our Indian Railway. Now we started with the Indian Railway project with only one division. So it was not even the zone. So it was Ajmer division wherein we started the project maybe 5 years back, and then we moved to the project into the Northwest Railway. Now, so that the project was only for a Northwest Railway, nothing else was there. So it was being the railway was interested to have a pilot study for the Northwest Railway only. But when we prepared the financial statement of the Northwest Railway and we showcase that, okay, these are the new data you are getting because to take the decision making, to see that when the asset is going to be replaced, you are getting the data of the depreciation, the accrual liability and the accrual asset. Then the moment immediately they agreed upon, and then they implemented the project at the national level for the entire Indian Railway, which is the third largest railway. And then we pull our socks and we implemented that particular aspect into the Indian Railway. And now today what is happening, that the Indian Railway not only going to move from the grafting method to the transaction level for each and every and transaction of the Indian Railway, but also they are moving towards the various I will say the add-on benefits. So they are working on the synergies, they are working on the flowing aspect, that okay, how they can use how they can best use this data being made available from the accrual accounting. They are now moving towards you are aware that they have a very ambitious project based on that data being made available. So what I'm trying to convey you, that the first and the foremost key to have this kind of a ignition that available with the local bodies and the opportunities for the chartered accountant, that we have to give them the early benefits, that we have to showcase them the early benefits, that okay, the moment you will adopt this, you will get a lot of benefit, and then automatically there will be a zeal from their side that okay, we want to. The second aspect, which is very, very important for all of us to discuss, that today there are number of local bodies which are struggling with the availability of the funds. So we conducted a study that is called the augmentation revenue for the urban local bodies. So we prepared a study. There was a committee called National Economic Advisory Committee of the ICI, which prepared a document called the augmenting revenue for the urban local bodies, wherein we try to give the out of the box suggestion that the municipal corporation, the local bodies can adopt these suggestion and make them the self-sufficient. So something like that. So what we in the committee itself and as a ICI, we wrote a letter to all the municipal commissioners and everywhere, and I'm happy to intimate you that we received a large number of responses from the commissioner that okay, you can adopt our municipal corporation and get a pilot project being conducted. So I will request Chitleji that we have recently request from the Pondicherry, one of the municipal corporation of the Pondicherry, where we can adopt that municipal corporation and showcase them that okay, by adopting the best practices, how you can convert a loss-making municipal corporation, a local body, into a profit-generating, a surplus-generating local body, and that will actually ignite again the new thoughts among them. The third one, which is very, very important, wherein the opportunities are available for our chartered accountant, is the municipal bonds, because that is something a new area which is emerging up, that everybody is looking for a economical way of funding that to reduce the cost of capital. And the municipal bonds can play a very, very important role in that. So not only that we need to guide our members, train our members, but also we need to showcase the benefit which is available to the municipal corporations, the local bodies, and even to the state government, that you, by having these kind of a bonds, you can make the local bodies self-sufficient. You not require to plug in, put in the money over there, put in the cash flows over there to sustain their salary and the other expenses. So something like that, it will again give a lot of impetus to their initiatives, that how we can have this kind of something like that is there. And the last but not the least, when we are adopting the accrual accounting, though we have the municipal accounting manual available, but at the same time I will urge Deepak Batraji and his entire team, along with the guidance of the Chitleji and Dheeraj Bhai, who is the chair of this committee, that in case we can develop. So in the Indian Railway, what we did, that apart from a comprehensive scope evaluation, the accounting policy, which is available otherwise in the municipal accounting manual, the one very, very important document which we prepared is an implementation manual. So that is something that implementation manual is become a document wherein at any point of anywhere in the world, if you want to implement the accrual accounting in the railway of the Nigeria or a Kenya or say for example a South Africa or for example to any other country, you can simply use that implementation manual because that carry all the accounting policies, the procedures, the methodology and the challenges which we faced in the Indian Railways. So something like that, a document can be prepared for the urban local bodies, for the local bodies as well, that how we can implement, because it is that, like for example, Abhishek want to do a accrual accounting project in a local bodies, but he is not having that kind of a capacity available, the skill set available, that how to start with, from where to start with, what to do, something to implement that. So something, this kind of a manual will certainly help our chartered accountant colleagues to see that they are, because their presence is there. So it is not only the local bodies we are talking about, the urban local bodies we are talking about, even the rural local bodies also, there will be a role for the chartered accountant. So today we have more than 270,000 panchayats. We have the more than maybe the thousands of urban local bodies in the country. So there is a lot of requirement and opportunities available in these all local body concept of the country, wherein our professionals can provide their specialized service to see that the India is becoming the 5 trillion economy and we are moving towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So last word from my side, that though the topic is that the professional opportunity, maybe we can convert later on this topic as a professional duty towards the local bodies. So how we can support the local bodies, how we can, so that will certainly we will be able to get more and more support from the government, because we are saying that okay, yes, we are there to support you, something like that. So my best wishes to Chitleji for spearheading all these initiatives under this committee, apart from his own committee where he is the chairing, that is the company law and the corporate governance committee. So he is keenly participating in not only his committee but also in the other committees, and even as a member of the disciplinary committee. And all my co-opted colleagues and the speakers for sparing their valuable time. And thanks for a small video which you have shared in the beginning, and that shows the love and affection from all of you, whether I deserve that or not. But thank you very much to all of you for showing that love and affection in the beginning of the this my address. Thank you very much to Abhishek ji and for giving this opportunity, and Chitle ji. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir. It was really illuminating. And let me start from the end, that you said that whether you deserve or not, in Pune branch, only deserving persons get this accolade. So definitely you deserve. There is no two views about it. As far as this Pondicherry municipality is concerned, definitely that is a challenge, and our committee will spearhead the initiative. The only request is that we would need blessings and guidance from a person who has spearheaded the work relating to Indian Railways. If that is available, definitely Pondicherry will happen. As you said that yes, there is a duty, and committee has also noticed that big municipality has started recruiting even chartered accountants for their accounting and budgeting sections. So there also we would try to have more and more role for the purpose of chartered accountants as employees, as consultants. And we have a team of co-opted members like Batraji. We are taking liberal help of Reji for the purpose of whatever initiatives we want to do in this particular arena. And definitely, if you consider the budget for all these local bodies, that budget is also very substantial. And as you said that if chartered accountants, we consider it as a duty, and if this particular money is really spent for the cause, I think India will become a mammoth power in the globe in the years to come. So thank you for joining, and over to Abhishek.
Yes, thank you so much, Atul Kumar Gupta sir, Honorable President, for your words of wisdom and enlightening all the participants for the opportunities as well as their duties towards the local bodies. So we plan to, just to inform you, I informed in the beginning, we plan to have a program wherein all urban municipal bodies and rural municipal bodies in Maharashtra to bring on one platform and make them aware about the double entry accounting system, about the accrual system, maybe GST also we would like to enlighten upon them. And the most important, as point raised by you, the finance related bond, the finance related thing, we can also enlighten them. So this is the tentative program we are planning in the month of November. We look forward for your guidance also in that program. With that, we will conclude today's session. Thank you, both the speakers. I request Kashinath to please formally propose a formal vote of thanks, and then we will conclude the session.
I'm available. You please continue.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all of you. I sincerely thanks to our today's speaker for his wonderful insights in government. Thank you, sir, for joining. Also, thanks to all participants for joining. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all participants also for participating, and we look forward to organize more such programs. Thank you.
Yeah, in this particular program, really what the audience were seeking is the opportunities, and I think that the mammoth opportunities were unfolded by Mr. C.A. Ray, and I'm sure that whenever time comes, we will once again be inviting you, sir, for the purpose of just...
Yeah, thank you for that, sir. Definitely I will try to participate because this is my alma mater, so I will definitely keep on participating. But nowadays time constraint and travel constraints are there, so this blue jeans is the new way to present, so we will keep on wearing the blue jeans time and again. Thank you. Many thanks.
Right.
Many thanks.
Batraji is co-opted member on this committee. He keeps on liberally contributing, and really valuable suggestions are made to the committee. Now, Batraji, as said by the President, sir, that this Pondicherry municipality has returned to the institute. So let us also devise some program for the purpose of accepting this as a duty, as a challenge, and getting accomplished with the reservoir like you, Reji, and others. I'm sure that we will be able to accomplish this. And thank you for enlightening the audience on this particular topic. Friends, we were also benefited by the words of advice by Vice President Nihar Jambusariya ji and President Atul Gupta ji. So whenever such programs are organized, Vice President and President are always patronizing those programs and are keen that the committee functions in a most appropriate manner. And because of their guidance, we are able to perform in the manner which we are performing. So I thank all of you for joining this, and let us hope that in days to come, definitely chartered accountants will play a significant role in the duty and the responsibility what was informed by the President and other speakers. And we will really leave the accreditation that former President of India, Abdul Kalam ji, said that chartered accountants are partners in nation building. Let us partner and build the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.